starts on the 30th of December on the road at Penn State before the Hawks start 2022 with a couple of home games, Illinois on the 2nd and Northwestern on the 6th. And Jan, it seems like it's still been a while since the Hawks have hit the court, but obviously some practice after the Iowa State game. And then, of course, we'll talk to Logan and McKenna, too. It's taking care of business right now as far as the academics are concerned, all the way leading up to the game on Saturday.
Yeah, it's been, I was thinking today, it's been about 5 years since we've had a bye week or a layoff where we didn't end on a win. And that can be hard. I mean, I was kind of used to it, right? Your spirits are festive. The practices when you win are certainly lighter. But sometimes losses can get your attention a little bit more. Not that this team needed that, but they have certainly responded because they're, there's nobody more disappointed than the players when you don't get a hard-fought win or you lose a rivalry game. But they really, honestly, we couldn't be happier with the way they practiced. They brought it every single day. They've been resilient, and they're doing it. Every team right now has finals on their mind, and Lisa always preaches, be where your feet are. And so when we started that huddle, especially today, as finals started today, she reminded them to do that, and they did it. And so we're really pleased. I think we've gotten better. I think we're understanding some of the things we didn't do as sharply. And I just think we're also getting reps. It's not an excuse, but that layoff due to COVID, that took a lot of reps. It took a lot of collective reps. It took a lot of eyes away from practice, keying in on people. So I'm just really happy with the reps and the progress that we made, I think, this 4 days.
After the Iowa State game, what's kind of been the focus in practice all the way up to this point? I know Coach Bluder talked last Thursday about just focusing on your team, focusing on Iowa, and just trying to get better.
And that's the best part. What's hard for a team and players to realize, in June, it's all about us, right? We're trying to implement our offense. We're teaching our freshmen our system. Or we're trying to work on the weaknesses from last year. But it's all about us. And then when you get closer to games, then you start to change the game plan where you can't work on us anymore. You got to get ready for, every opponent. Well, the thing that was really difficult was when we came out of that COVID, we needed some time for us again. We needed just reminders on how the offense is supposed to look. We needed to freshen up our defense. We needed just a little bit, one practice at least to focus on us. Well, we didn't get it. We had 2 practices before we went to Duke. Then we had 2 practices to get ready for Michigan State and 2 practices to get ready for Iowa State. So there was nothing about us, right? It was like changing game plans. Some people we wanted to focus on our zone. Other people we wanted to do player. Some people had 30 plays in. And you have to then choose as a coach how many plays are you going to share with your team. So the positive after coming off of, that disappointing loss was that we could really focus on us. And that's exactly what we did up until today. We had 4 really good practices, and then today we started to introduce a little bit of the Central Florida scheme.
And that'll be here before you know it, and we will talk about Central Florida, also maybe a little bit about IUPUI, and then also the entire season and the rugged Big Ten as well. And we'll be back. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight at Bumps. We had great crowds all season long here on our first Monday night show of the year. And we'll be back to Hawk Talk presented by Oakdale from Learfield.
Anything can happen when the Cyclones and Hawkeyes come to compete. It's where the rubber meets the road. Neighbors become rivals and friends become foes. Some go home broken-hearted, while others are victorious. When the dust finally settles, one thing stands true. No matter which side you're on, you're part of tradition for those who are Iowan through and through. We're Iowa Corn, a proud sponsor of the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now, hip. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Check out Bump's Restaurant, located on Melrose Avenue in Iowa City, inside the new Nagel Family Clubhouse at Finkbine Golf Course. We use fresh whole ingredients and scratch cooking in all of our dishes. Come enjoy a blackberry avocado salad, our famous pork tenderloin, or maybe our signature Kinnick burger with a side of our fresh hand-cut french fries. And don't forget to try our legendary Mary and handcrafted cocktails. Reservations are encouraged. Make yours today by calling 319-335-9662. Bump's Restaurant, legendary man, legendary food.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Are you looking to downsize from your family home to begin your retirement years? Our Oak Knoll East campus is for you. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director at Oak Knoll. Our new campus has many unique amenities for your active lifestyle, in addition to providing the same great services that Oak Knoll has offered our residents for over 50 years. We're now open and have a few 2-bedroom apartments still available. Call me at 319-351-1720 or visit oakknoll.com to set up your personal tour. Go Hawks!
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
Welcome back to Bumps and Hawk Talk, presented by Oak Knoll. I'm Rob Brooks. I appreciate everybody once again coming out tonight for our show, and we'll be back here next Monday. That'll be our final show of 2021, if you can believe that. We'll be here Monday from 6 until 7. Has this year just cruised by or what?
Flown.
Huh?
Flown. Unbelievable. Yeah, I can't believe, what is it, December 13th, right?
We're all ready.
Yeah, it goes fast. I feel like I don't think we should say that, though. I feel like that makes us also older. Remember when you were a kid and it would take forever for Christmas or forever for summer, and you'd hear your parents and grandparents say, "Oh, time's just flying," and you were always like, "What?
What are you talking about?"
Here we are. Time's just flying.
Well, both of us just celebrated birthdays here recently, too. So
we did.
But it's good to be here, that's for sure. Dodge Street Tire and Auto, locally owned and operated, has been voted best of the area for the 9th consecutive year. Proudly supports Iowa women's basketball. Visit Dodge Street Tire for all of your automotive needs, including the best deals on Goodyear and Toyo tires. Dodge Street Tire and Auto celebrating 29 good years on the corner of Dodge and Church Streets. So, Jan, you mentioned the focus now will shift a little bit to Central Florida, as this is a basketball team that's only lost one game. Mm-hmm. How about its style? Mm-hmm. Only averaging, about 55 points a game, giving up points in the 40s. A little bit of contrast in styles, it looks like.
It very much. And what we've tried to get our team's attention is this is one of the very best defensive teams in the country. They've beaten Arkansas, and hopefully that gets their attention. But when you guys watch them play, their defense is very good, and they play a 3-2 zone, and it's very aggressive. If you think about a zone, usually you think you can kind of pass it wherever you want, right? They're going to cover the three-point shooter, and then they're going to, everybody, if you throw it inside, they're going to maybe double team Monica. This particular zone with the 3-2, they put a lot of pressure on the point, which would be a Caitlin. But then instead of sitting back in the zone and moving on the pass to maybe close out on McKenna, they are going to be in the passing lanes, very long, very athletic, basically with their back to the wing, but it's really hard to throw it. And so it's stymies a lot of offenses because they're taking away what is normally and typically there against most zones. So they also don't push real fast themselves unless it's a long rebound or their posts do run really well. And if we're lazy getting back, they'll make you pay. But their deal isn't to run down the floor and score 90, obviously. They really want to slow down what you want to do, and they're going to be pretty methodical, if you will, on offense. They run various things. They do a lot of ball screen action. They like to hit their posts from the high-low game. Their guard is their leading scorer, but their posts do a really good job of getting position and crashing. And we got to box out. So we got to handle their zone, which is going to look a lot different than anything we've seen or anything we will see, which is the fun of sport, is game planning. But it's also sometimes when you're game planning for something that's so different than what you're going to see. That's why it was great we had 4 days to work on us, because now we need to work for the win. And then there'll be a couple tweaks that we've made that hopefully we can take into playing a team like Northwestern or playing teams that play a little bit more zone. But this is a zone defense that we have not seen before. And it's very, very good. And we're going to have to bring it to get the win. Because I think a lot of people like to think, oh, they had tough games at Duke, tough game at Iowa State. We're just going to roll and get this and just show up. We're going to have to do a heck of a lot more than show up. I can tell you that.
Yeah, you mentioned the Arkansas game. Won that one 52-51. Also beat USC 56-47. So they play in the 50s, sometimes a little bit in the 60s. But obviously, as you mentioned, not giving up a whole lot of points.
Right.
And it seems like it's a pretty balanced attack, too. They've got somebody, you mentioned Diamond Battles, the leading scorer, but just under 14 points a game. And then it drops down between 9 and 5 points per contest.
And they're not great outside shooters. They like to attack you off the bounce. Their post players are solid, but they get you a lot with the putbacks. And so you're going to see a little different of our schemes. If we play some zone, there's going to be some people we'll sag off of. Some people will try to invite to take the outside shot. I think sometimes as a fan, like you'll see them, we'll be really off of them and they'll hit one and everybody's like, oh my gosh, good on her. They hit two and they're like, everybody's kind of freaking out. But sometimes you kind of want them to get hot early because the numbers are going to show that they might hit those first couple, but then they might miss their next 6 or 7 if the numbers stay true. So we'll do some of those things. And what'll be good about that is in the Big Ten season, we're playing such great teams. Sometimes you want to take away the other team's great players and maybe their third or fourth option. You'll say, okay, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us. I don't want, the best top 2 scorers to beat us, but you 3 and 4, if you can step up consistently and you can hit it when we're sagging off or we're doubling down here, we're going to take our chances with that. So we're going to work hopefully on some of our player stuff and some of our zone defenses with that.
Yeah, it's a good point you make, too, about a player that potentially gets hot early on and then maybe doesn't have great percentages.
Right.
When is the time, okay, if they hit 4 in a row, 5 in a row, okay, maybe we better go out and change things up a little bit.
And I think you should have Jenny Fitzgerald have a conversation with me about that, because she's always like, simmer. Yep. I'm like, we got to get out of it. She's like, simmer. So over the years, you can imagine the conversations Jenny and I have had, in quick bursts of time. But a lot of it is, it's a little bit gut, but it's a lot of numbers. We'll let them go a couple times, because the players too, they're like,
right.
Like Monica, I'll tell her to sag back on a post player who typically hasn't hit anything from the elbow out. And of course, right away, she's sagging, she's doing it beautifully, and she hits one, and she's like, kind of looks at the bench, and you're like, you're good. Next time down, same dang things happen. It's like, coach. And I'm like, we're good.
I've seen that look once or twice.
And then sometimes I look at Jenny. I'm trying to be cool. I'm like, Jenny. But overall, typically we'll go 2 to 3 shots. And then it's a gut. I mean, then you can kind of see the swagger in their eyes. You can kind of see if maybe they've guessed your game plan, so they've revved up their kid and said they're going to sag off on you. So you might leave it for a while, but then we'll typically kind of come back to it. If we might get a little bit closer. Sometimes I think what the key is, if you're going to sag on a kid, is there's one philosophy to make it really obvious. Like you're like 20 feet from them and really daring them. The other one is to give them, let them think you're on them, but you're really not. So it kind of depends. My philosophy with that, it kind of depends on what I project the attitude of that kid is. Sometimes if it's a cocky swagger kid, I want a kind of a little hand. I don't want her to start thinking like, well, they don't respect me. I kind of want her to kind of think that, and then she's not looking maybe as much. If it's someone, though, that is not a great shooter, then we might sag off, and then it goes back to what does the rest of their group look like. And if, the rest of them are so doggone efficient, then we might take our chances and really want the swaggy kid to shoot. It's like, okay, if you're going to step up and do it, then you do it, but I prefer not to have your, all conference player be the one, that gets on the roll. So long-winded, but I think two to three shots might make you leave it for a while and then kind of simmer, let her simmer, but then we'll typically always try to come back to it.
And I suppose, too, in the Big Ten portion of the schedule, when you're pretty familiar with a lot of these names, you've watched them a lot, so you kind of see that demeanor more often.
Yeah, like on games like this, you definitely just go by the numbers, if that's what you want to try to do. And then just the course of the game, and a lot of that, there's a lot you can do with statistics and a lot you can do with game planning. But sometimes, that's the fun thing about our jobs. You get in the game and you just get a feel, like someone, your traps are working or your zone's really working. You didn't really want to play zone, but man, it's humming that night. So we're going to lean more on that than we thought we were going to do our player. And that's what I enjoy is we go in and I always think we have a really tight, sound game plan. But it's fun to be able to be a little flexible and just kind of go with your gut or go with the feel.
Because you have so much information at your fingertips, and obviously you only want to convey a certain amount, and how much time you're really going to spend going through all that detailed information.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Is, even on your team, you have some kids that just want to suck it all up. They love it. They read that scouting report. They know it. Other kids, it's not as fun for them. It's difficult for them, or they're not as disciplined. And so, we can be really mad at the kid that's not really reading it and, loving it, or we can figure out how to work with it, because you can be mad, but if they don't get it somehow, we're not going to be good on the floor. So we give our kids a scouting report, actually a booklet, right? So they know it, and they should know it. But some of them reading it, it just doesn't correlate. They have to actually walk through it. So we go through it, like tomorrow or whenever we go through the scout, we go through it, everybody, top player on their team, who we got to look out for, blah, blah, blah. Then we give them tendencies, what they like to do defensively, what they like to do offensively. Then we give them our scheme, what we're going to do. And then we look at the plays, and then we watch it on the video. So we're reading it, we're watching it, and usually there's something will resonate, right? Whether you're reading it or watching it, but most of them doing it. And so then we go on the court and do it. So out of those three ways to learn, hopefully you're going to be prepared. But your best players, the ones that are really engaged and can lock in, they know it, reading it, they watch it, they understand it, they want to rewind it, they want to ask a question. And then when we get on the court, there's usually not too many errors that they make walking through it. But, some kids, it just, there's a lot of people learn differently, like I was definitely one, I'd like to do it more. But, man, there's some people that can just look at it and do it, read it, and just know exactly what that's going to mean and what that screen's going to look like and that staggered's going to look like. So that's also a fun part of coaching is, most freshmen coming in, they've never watched film, and they've certainly never been critiqued in film. And we have to remember that, because we're just coaching and be like, Logan, you need to box out. Next clip, Logan, that's not a good time to drive. 4 clips later, Logan, you really needed to make this pass. Well, pretty soon Logan's thinking she's terrible, right? Because she's never
she's never heard that before, right?
Because in high school, they didn't watch film, right? And then
highlights
right?
probably.
Well, maybe they did on Twitter with these new courtside film productions. But so that's over the years. We've tried to be cognizant of that, but then that's just how they have to kind of suck it up and learn too, because it's nothing against you personally. That's just how we learn, right? Mm-hmm. Film doesn't lie. So it's pretty amazing what goes into one particular scouting report, but really what these women do daily basis to become great and to really push themselves and get out of their comfort zones and really try to make our program the best that it can be. Is I think there's a lot of, and you can go over every sport. I'm really against people criticizing collegiate athletes. I'm against it on the football field. I'm against it on field hockey. They're not, I know they're getting the NIL now, but these are young people that are, yes, they're on scholarship, but they're working their tails off. And they are not meaning to make any mistakes. They are not meaning to ruin everybody's day by not, beating the crosstown rivals. And I'm always amazed, and I'm always so proud of our women, of how they conduct themselves and how hard they work. And unfortunately, we don't win every game, but there's not one team in the country I would trade for how these guys operate on a daily basis. And I just am so proud of their work, and especially this last 4 days. It's been tough, and they've really handled it, and I'm excited for them to finally get a play on Saturday.
Yeah, that's well said. And the thing about the bounce back, and where I think you got to be really confident about the great things that are still in front of this team for you guys this year, is you take the Duke loss and then probably put together one of the best quarters of basketball I've seen against Michigan State,
right.
Limiting them to 11 points. Would you outscored them 33-11, and they got that first conference victory. That's the type of bounce back you're absolutely looking for.
It really is. And if we could just kind of bottle that third quarter, right? And I'm going to.
You'll find a way, right?
We're going to. When I bottle something like that, I'm in Bahamas, baby. And coming back, I'm going to sell it to every team. Look, you just do this, and you're going to.
It's that simple.
11, you're going to score 30. But that's what's so fun about what we do. It's frustrating at times because we did credit Iowa State. They had a good game plan and they're a very good team, but we were not happy with our offense in any way, shape, or form. We just didn't do some of the basic principles which we showed our players. But we're like, it's a 4-point game with 2 to go, right?
You're right there.
That's not even, hitting on all cylinders even close. But you see it in Michigan State, and people are like, well, why can't you just do that consistently? Well, I think that the offense that we run, it's predicated on reads. And if we're running it well, we don't even know what they're going to really do and what the read is going to be made. And that's what makes it hard to guard when you're going. But if we don't run it well, we're very predictable. We're very, if we're going to stand and not cut, if we're going to, maybe penetrate every 2 or 3 times, but we don't move to give the penetrator who gets stopped an angle, it's pretty hard to guard, right? But this offense, it takes reps and it takes time. And I've often said with our offenses, usually, somewhere in that Big Ten season, it starts to really hum. When you're really good, it's a little bit earlier. It's almost like a fine wine. It gets better with age. And so I'm probably, a little bit harping too much on it, but taking the reps away that we lost, it just kind of, it just stands to reason a little bit, except for the upperclassmen sitting to my right. They do know how to circle and know how to cut. We didn't do that quite as much as we could have, but they were the first ones to admit that, we needed to hum. So I think you will see that third quarter be much more consistent, turning into hopefully 2, 3, 4 quarters soon. But it's a lot easier to coach a play because you go here and you stand here, and then you go there and you screen there, and then you can hum it and you can hum it, and you can get it to where hopefully it's like clockwork. But when you're trying to teach thought patterns and independent reads and giving them the freedom of when to set a back screen and a pin screen or a flare screen, or when to slip it, or when to go screen Monica, or Monica, when does she want to come and set a ball screen, or give Caitlin the freedom, to give her a little bit of freedom to take some of those shots, but then golly, she's taken too many of those shots, then bringing her in and like, no, we got to make this read. It takes time, and it can drive you crazy. It can give you gray hair sometimes as a coach, but it's also the challenge and the fun of it. And when we get it, boy, is it fun to watch.
And no doubt about that. And, of course, it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. And then all of a sudden, the Big Ten season is here.
And the Big Ten
got to get going.
Good.
We really are.
We really do.
Have you been able to kind of watch scores and see what's happening out there?
Everything to me is pretty much as anticipated. I always thought Maryland was going to be Maryland, and I think they showed that great showing. They finally had everybody back healthy for them, and woulda, coulda, shoulda at South Carolina. So that was great for the Big Ten. Indiana, I thought they would be very good. They got everybody back like we did, and they just have a lot of nice pieces. The one thing they have is number 4 for them, the transfer that was from Ball State last year. Hillary, I can't pronounce her last name, remember it right now, but number 4, she's a much more consistent scorer than she used to be. And so you could kind of hope or hedge off of her a little bit, but now they got five people that are shooting at a very, very high efficiency. And I think their synergy is really good right now. I think Michigan is Michigan with Naz Hillman. So I think we're all kind of doing what we, you could argue that we would have loved to have beaten Duke and beaten Iowa State. Iowa State, all bets are off and in those rivalry games. Duke was going to be tough coming in the situation that we did. But I think, based on what I'm seeing in practice and knowing what we've already showed, I think we're kind of right in that mix too. And it's going to be a fight, man. That Big Ten is going to be fun.
And the one thing about those road games, it gets you used to what you're going to see in the Big Ten, because I'm sure it's going to be like most every other year is, hey, got to win at home.
Yep.
And we got to go steal some in some tough environments on the road. Not going to find anything more difficult than Iowa State, I wouldn't think. Plus, at Duke, wasn't a huge crowd, but boy, that student section was right down there, and they were into the ballgame.
They really were. My son, he's a little basketball connoisseur, but he was telling me he felt like the Duke environment was one of the loudest that he'd ever sat in. And I kind of was like, I was kind of salty after the loss. And no excuses. I don't care how loud it was. He's like, well, remember when Coach Bluder was trying to call a play and it was a turnover because, Kate was at the one, and I was like, oh, yeah, we did kind of have a turnover there with the sound or whatever. But I do think that was a great environment. And I think our players, I think that they're really going to draw on that because there's not one of them that isn't wishing we could have a redo right now with both of those teams. And that's a great sign. No one has like, oh gosh, wow, that didn't go so well. It was more like, can we have that one back? They got that little edge to them. And in both of these games, what I've loved is they have never quit. I mean, we handled a couple big runs at Iowa State, and we came back and got that lead in that second half again. At Duke, they kind of went up, and it got really loud, as my son said. But, man, they just kept fighting. And sometimes you look in a huddle as a coach, and you're like, oh, my gosh, we got nothing. They're just – you can tell they've totally lost their focus, and they're thinking about all the uncontrollables. I've never seen that with this team, and that's an excellent sign.
No doubt about that. And you had a shout-out for Megan Gustafson today, right? Birthday?
Big happy birthday.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. I don't know
How about
people
that?
are on Twitter, but
Yep.
I called Megan today, and it was after practice. And the Naismith Award, they have a Twitter account. They actually wished her happy birthday, which I thought was cool. And just, Megan is just a gem. She's in a long line of wonderful, wonderful former athletes that we've been able to coach. She's just is everything you want, your daughter to be. And she continues to do that and off the floor, and she's also rocking it over there.
Yep.
Her stats are Megan-esque again, which is pretty awesome.
Represents the university pretty well, doesn't she?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Jan, what's before we cut you loose here, what's the rest of the week look like trying to dodge finals for the players and get everybody together? I know sometimes that's not the easiest thing.
It isn't. So we usually practice 10 to 1, but tomorrow we're going in the afternoon because of the final schedule. But it's really interesting. You'll have to, when Logan Cook and McKenna Warnock get on, I feel like since COVID, there's a lot more take-home finals, a lot more, online classes. So we didn't have quite as many. You have to schedule around because they're like, I can take it whenever I want. Doesn't mean it's easier. It just means it's a different, structure. But we'll go tomorrow afternoon, and then we're taking Wednesday off. Part of it because there's a lot of finals there, and part of it, Lisa and I need to be at a big timers game. And Thursday, we'll go afternoon again, but then Friday, last day, we're back to our normal, and then finally get to play on Saturday. So it's always challenging, but honestly, these guys, I've almost forgotten.
They're ready.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll see someone coming in with bags under their eyes. They're like, oh my gosh, I was up so late, and they might have been, but they haven't acted like that. So I'm so far I'm very impressed, but I know the stress meter is going higher as we sit here because most of them, they didn't have finals today. They start tomorrow.
But when that's over, there's not much better feeling in the world having your finals in your rearview mirror,
I think
right?
everybody in here that went to college,
you're
going to remember that day, no matter how old we are. When you got done with that last final, it was
sure.
Like, angels were singing.
And then you can just focus on hoops, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. It was the best. It was the best time of year.
Well, Jan, appreciate you as always coming by and spending some time with us. I know it's a busy
Lisa
week.
would have loved to have been here. So we've had such a great crowd. So
we have
thanks
been.
all of you, and you got a big
been a great month.
Coming in with Logan Cook and McKenna Warnock.
I hate to interrupt their dinner, though.
I know. They're good at eating.
But we're going to anyway. I know. That I've seen.
Sometimes we might go late in practice, so the food isn't hot. So I'm pretty sure. Not often, but sometimes.
They'll survive, right?
Thanks to our great fans. We hopefully will see you on Saturday and help us get that UCF win and get back on track. Go Hawks!
Jan Jensen, Associate Head Coach, here on the program tonight from Bumps. And we'll have McKenna Warnock and also Logan Cook here to finish out the show. And if you have a question for either player, just stop on up and we'll ask them. Here in Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Corn is a multi-purpose crop which benefits the entire state. It feeds our livestock, nourishes our family, and provides clean-burning fuel for our planet. Thank you to Iowa's corn farmers. We'll be back with more Hawk Talk presented by Oaknall from Bumps from Learfield.
Iowa, we grow corn, a lot of corn. We love seeing our farmers in the fields, and although they're perfect strangers, we know them. We know them by their equipment covered in dust. We know them by their work ethic, where days off don't exist. We know them by the way they wave, passing strangers alike on a two-lane road. We know them in the midst of our kitchen as we prepare another family meal. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. The Iowa corn farmers are proud to be on the sidelines for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
The next time you visit Eastern Iowa, check out the official local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Jill Armstrong team with Skogman Realty, Bachmeyer Carpet One, Floor and Home, Klosterman Construction, and the Hotel at Kirkwood Center, Iowa's premier luxury hotel, named Iowa Tourism's 2021 Hotel of the Year and awarded the AAA 4 Diamond Award for lodging. To make reservations, visit thehotelatkirkwood.com or call 877-751-5111 for more information.
Check out Bumps Restaurant, located on Melrose Avenue in Iowa City, inside the new Nagel Family Clubhouse at Finkbine Golf Course. We use fresh whole ingredients and scratch cooking in all of our dishes. Come enjoy a blackberry avocado salad, our famous pork tenderloin, or maybe our signature Kinnick burger with a side of our fresh hand-cut french fries. And don't forget to try our legendary Mary and handcrafted cocktails. Reservations are encouraged. Make yours today by calling 319-335-9662. Bumps Restaurant, legendary man, legendary food.
The holiday season is here. Time for laughter and time for cheer. This year, enjoy spending time celebrating with family and friends. Just remember, buzz driving is drunk driving. If you're going to drink, plan another way home before the celebration begins and encourage your friends and family to do the same. Even one too many drinks increases the risk of a crash while driving. Be responsible and have a happy holidays. This message is brought to you by the Iowa Department of Public Safety, the Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau, and your local law enforcement.
Are you looking to downsize from your family home to begin your retirement years? Our Oaknall East campus is for you. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director at Oaknall. Our new campus has many unique amenities for your active lifestyle, in addition to providing the same great services that Oaknall has offered our residents for over 50 years. We're now open and have a few two-bedroom apartments still available. Call me at 319-351-1720 or visit oaknall.com to set up your personal tour. Go Hawks!
Oh, you know that old injury of yours? The one in your knee or maybe back? Instead of going to the doctor and then doing physical therapy, why not start with therapy first? Athletico Physical Therapy is changing the whole healing process around. Their physical therapists will find the source of your pain and help fix it. Start with them and start living pain-free. Just like that.
It all starts with Athletico Physical Therapy. Schedule your free assessment at athletico.com. No prescription needed. Proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Welcome back to Bumps at Finkbine Golf Course. This is Hawk Talk for a Monday night. Don't forget, we'll be back next Monday as well from 6 until 7, so hopefully we'll keep our great crowds coming out here. And then, of course, many shows after the first of the year. Well, Logan Cook joins us on the show. It's always great to have some players. We don't get this too often, so it's great to get a different perspective. And Logan, has it gone fast for you? It's kind of amazing that you walk in as a freshman and then all of a sudden you get into your junior, senior year, and you feel like, boy, hey, it seems like I was just walking on campus a couple of days ago.
Oh, it's gone by so fast, and
that it's not over. I'm not saying that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely enjoying my senior year, but like you said, it's gone by fast, and you know the seniors tell you that when you're an incoming freshman, and you just don't believe it, but. I was able to go to one of my high school West High versus Liberty game the other day, and I saw Jamie Printing coaching, and I'm like, wow, I remember when you were here, and now I'm a senior, and it was just so surreal. And then I was watching my old high school team play, and I'm like, this felt like it was just yesterday. So, yeah, just really taking it all in my senior year, and even with all these hard practices we've been having, like Coach Shea's been saying, you know, just realizing I'm not going to get these back, so just enjoying it for sure.
Well, your high school team's going to be pretty good, I think, again this year, huh?
Yeah, it was fun watching them and seeing my old high school coach, and yeah, they played a great game against Liberty.
And I know it's hard now to kind of think about great memories playing basketball, but do you ever kind of think about, you know, if you go back to a high school game, boy, this game was a lot of fun. I remember that, or even AAU ball. Or even at Iowa, because when you play your entire life, sometimes those memories kind of flood back, don't they?
Yeah, it's definitely fun thinking back on those memories, and we always talk about this too as a team. Like, yeah, we'll remember like wins and losses, but we're always going to remember just our friendships the most. And so when I look back at these 4 years, I'm definitely just going to remember, you know, the times I spent with my friends, whether it was just studying with them or going to the movies or a tough practice. So, yeah, I just say I'm glad I built the relationships I did here.
Yeah, and I think you spent so much time on the road, too. And I know you take care of academics in that facet as well, but a lot of buses and planes and hotels. So you spend a lot of time with one another, and I'm sure you make memories on the road as well.
Yeah, one of the great things that we do is our roommate switches each time on the road, so that's nice. I know football, I think at Iowa, they have the same roommate each week, but you know, each away game we're with someone new, and so it's just that's something that's so fun. And usually we're all, you know, doing homework on the plane or bus, and then when we get to the hotel, or we eat together, do homework together, and I don't know, watch The Bachelor or something on TV.
Got to get a couple of television shows in, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Got to have a little downtime.
Yeah.
Shoot-arounds and practices on the road as well. And you know, that's one thing too when you talk about the camaraderie, because that's really important isn't it? Not only to have a successful team, but to really enjoy yourself. You have to really appreciate one another and you try to best you can to get along with different personalities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I couldn't have been more blessed with the group of girls I came in with. Monica, Kate, and Tommy. We just all clicked instantly, and we had one of our best freshman summers together in the dorms, and we were over at Dom, and then they put us in Peterson our fall semester. But I mean, we have such amazing memories, and I'm so glad I came in with that group of girls, and everyone else that I've met on the team has been great, so it's just been a blessing.
Yeah, on the court, where have you seen yourself and your game grow from when you came as a freshman?
Yeah, I just say, like, something I continue to keep working on is just my comfort level. You know, I remember being so nervous for practice my freshman year, and that eventually got easier and easier, and just building that once I'm on Carver Hawkeye Arena in game mode too. And so just working on that, and you know, I've kind of been the backup 4 and 5, and so just having that mindset of always being ready whenever coach calls your name to go in. And yeah, just embracing both those positions. They're very different, but you know, I've had great role models to look up to and observe during practice, and so when it's my turn to go in, I just try to do the best I can.
Because it's a tough transition, isn't it, from high school to Division I, big-time basketball, and it can be kind of unnerving at the very beginning to say, hey, you know, I got to make sure I belong, and you're trying to navigate schoolwork and obviously a lot of basketball as well, and it takes some time to settle in, doesn't it?
It does, for sure. Yeah, that's just, like you said, it's a completely different mindset switching from high school to college, and even, like you said, academics, really taking in the tutors and everything that the athletic program provides to us. And yeah, just making sure you're on top of your studies, you're on top of the amount of shots you're getting in, and practice and all that.
So finals coming up this week. You've got 2 down, right?
Yeah.
So that's 2 behind and a few to go. What are you majoring in, and what do you see yourself doing in the future?
Yeah, so I'm majoring in human physiology with a minor in business administration, and I'm basically deciding between a few different grad school options. I'm thinking either OT, pharmacy, or PA, and so basically in these last 4 years, I've kind of just taken a very wide range of prereqs that will fulfill any of those grad programs. And so now it's up to this kind of final year and possibly a gap year to really decide, you know, what my heart's calling me to do, and just making sure I'm getting in some job shadowing hours and stuff like that to help me make my decision.
Well, yeah, don't rush into the workforce. It's not all that great sometimes.
Yeah.
You stay in college for a while.
For sure. Yeah.
So how have these last practices been? I know this has been kind of a roller coaster season for you, but you've got some time now, and I'm sure chomping at the bit to get back inside Carver on Saturday.
Yeah, we're really excited to finally be back in Carver and have a game, but these have been really good practices, and I've seen a lot of growth just in these last few days. We're definitely very well conditioned now. If we weren't before, we've been getting up and down the court a lot, so. But yeah, we're ready to see it all pay off, and the game's coming up.
Have been pretty competitive practices?
Oh yeah, for sure. Lots of scrimmaging, and yeah, we're really pushing each other. Yeah, very competitive.
All right. Well, Logan, appreciate your time. I'll let you get back to your dinner there, huh?
Thank you.
All right.
Good, thanks.
Logan Cook from Iowa City West High School. Blue is caring, blue is convenient, and now blue is Medicare Advantage from Wellmark Advantage Health Plan, offering all-in-one Medicare coverage, our extensive network, and the confidence of being covered by Wellmark. Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more at wellmarkadvantage.com. Also, tonight's show is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light proudly welcomes back Hawkeye fans to Carver Hawkeye Arena this year. Bud Light is for the fans. Don't forget, 2 big home games coming up on Saturday night. That is a 6:30 tip with Central Florida. And then a quick turnaround, IUPUI on the 21st. That is a Tuesday, ugly sweater day inside Carver Hawkeye. Now, that is a 2 o'clock tip, so a 2 o'clock tip on Tuesday. We'll be back with more Hawk Talk presented by Oaknall from Learfield.
There's a sense of pride that comes from the life of a farmer. How many people can say they have a famous tan named after them, or be known for their wave when they drive past neighbors and strangers alike on a two-lane road? Whether it's a farmer's tan or the farmer's wave, we are proud to be known for a lot of things. We feel that pride every night at the dinner table, knowing we feed our family and yours. Iowa Corn is proud to be on the sidelines cheering on the Iowa Hawkeyes. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Check out Bump's Restaurant, located on Melrose Avenue in Iowa City, inside the new Nagel Family Clubhouse at Finkbine Golf Course. We use fresh whole ingredients and scratch cooking in all of our dishes. Come enjoy a blackberry avocado salad, our famous pork tenderloin, or maybe our signature Kinnick burger with a side of our fresh hand-cut french fries. And don't forget to try our legendary Mary and handcrafted cocktails. Reservations are encouraged. Make yours today by calling 319-335-9662. Bump's Restaurant, legendary man, legendary food.
This holiday, let Hy-Vee do all the cooking so you can spend more time with family. Order your pre-made holiday meals today. You'll find delicious meals that serve from 2 to 12 people, including succulent turkey, honey-glazed spiral ham, or prime rib. Holiday meal packs are ready to heat and serve and include your choice of sides and rolls. For dessert, choose from apple, pumpkin, banana cream, or French silk pie. Meals start at just $34.99. Reserve your holiday meals today at Hy-Vee.com.
The holiday season is here. Time for laughter and time for cheer. This year, enjoy spending time celebrating with family and friends. Just remember, buzz driving is drunk driving. If you're going to drink, plan another way home before the celebration begins and encourage your friends and family to do the same. Even one too many drinks increases the risk of a crash while driving. Be responsible and have a happy holidays. This message is brought to you by the Iowa Department of Public Safety, the Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau, and your local law enforcement.
Get ready to rock into 2022 at Riverside Casino and Golf Resort. Earn entries in December for your chance to win one of 2 brand new Honda CR-Vs. Grand prize drawings will be held on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. On New Year's Eve night, America's premier classic rock tribute band, Arch Allies, will perform in the newly remodeled Events Center. Tickets are on sale now at riversidecasinoandresort.com.
Welcome back to Bumps at Finkbine Golf Course for Hawk Talk. Of course, as mentioned, we'll be back here next Monday from 6 until 7. Show presented by Oaknall. And you can also check out the full show schedule. It can be found under the Connect tab at HawkeyeSports.com. Hawks in Central Florida on Saturday, but many Big Ten teams pretty busy last weekend on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. As we take a look at the U.S. Bank scoreboard, Nebraska took care of Indiana State on Saturday, 78-50. Northwestern cruised by Delaware, 76-53. And then many Big Ten teams in action yesterday, as Coach Jensen talked about Maryland giving number 1 South Carolina all that they wanted. South Carolina ended up prevailing 66-59. Indiana took care of Ohio State. That was a 10-20 national-ranked matchup. Indiana, number 10 in the country, 86. The Buckeyes, 66. Michigan, ranked 13th over Minnesota, 73-61. Rutgers, no problem with Delaware State, 74-36. Penn State, 78. Youngstown State 58. Penn State is Iowa's Big Ten opener. That is on the 30th of December. That's a 2 o'clock tip in Happy Valley. Purdue got over the century mark, defeated Denver 101-68. Illinois 78, Butler 66. And Green Bay defeated the Wisconsin Badgers. The Badgers struggling so far this year. Green Bay 63, and Wisconsin 53. Taking a look at some of the statistics for the 5-2 Hawkeyes as Caitlin Clark leads the way, leading the Hawks in scoring at 22.6, also 8.4 rebounds a contest, and has dished out 50 assists. Monica Sedano at 17 a contest and also 5.4 rebounds. And then McKenna Warnock, she will join us here momentarily, averaging 13 points and 7 rebounds, shooting almost 55% from the floor and 37% from three-point range. Kate Martin, who played terrific at Iowa State, averaging 7.1 and 4.4, and Gabby Marshall in at 6.4 a contest, 11 of 27 from three-point range at 40.7. Hawkeyes, from a team standpoint, really pretty good numbers from the field at 47.2%. I think this number will go up as far as a three-point shooting percentage, 52 of 167 for 31%, doing a terrific job at the free throw line, 109 of 126 at 86.5%, averaging 82 points a contest and giving up 64. McKenna Warnock will join us when we come back after the break. We'll be back with more Hawk Talk to finish things off on this Monday evening, presented by Oakdahl from Learfield.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
The next time you visit Eastern Iowa, check out the official local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Jill Armstrong team with Skogman Realty, Bachmeyer Carpet One, Floor and Home, Klosterman Construction, and the Hotel at Kirkwood Center, Iowa's premier luxury hotel, named Iowa Tourism's 2021 Hotel of the Year and awarded the AAA 4 Diamond Award for lodging. To make reservations, visit thehotelatkirkwood.com or call 877-751-5111 for more information.
Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go is mealtime made easy. Just order delicious meals online for convenient curbside pickup or have it delivered. Want breakfast? Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go. Need lunch? Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go. Doing dinner? Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go. Get pancakes, burgers, fried chicken, lasagna, High-Chai Asian dishes, sushi, pizza, and more. If you're craving it, Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go has it with curbside pickup or delivery. Order today at Hy-Vee.com/mealtime.
Check out Bump's Restaurant, located on Melrose Avenue in Iowa City, inside the new Nagel Family Clubhouse at Finkbine Golf Course. We use fresh whole ingredients and scratch cooking in all of our dishes. Come enjoy a blackberry avocado salad, our famous pork tenderloin, or maybe our signature Kinnick burger with a side of our fresh hand-cut french fries. And don't forget to try our legendary Mary and handcrafted cocktails. Reservations are encouraged. Make yours today by calling 319-335-9662. Bump's Restaurant, legendary man, legendary food.
The next time you visit Eastern Iowa, check out the official local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, the Hotel at Kirkwood Center, Bachmeyer Carpet One, Floor and Home, the Jill Armstrong team with Skogman Realty, and Klosterman Construction, building custom homes for 20 years. Klosterman Construction is a premier custom home builder doing everything from remodels to exclusive custom homes. Klosterman takes the stress out of your building project. Award-winning designs, quality craftsmanship, and superior customer service. Call 319-545-7088.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Remaining moments here, Hawk Talk on a Monday night from Bumps, presented by Oakdahl and joined by McKenna Warnock as Hawkeyes get ready for Central Florida on Saturday. And boy, so used to playing so many games, and now you've had practices, of course, taking care of schoolwork this week, McKenna. But it's got to be great to be at least thinking about getting back to the arena on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited, especially after that game at Iowa State. It's always nice to get back and get in front of our home crowd. I'm really excited to see everyone come out. So.
But you guys really fought hard, at Duke, at Iowa State, tough environments as we've talked about. But boy, this team just kind of keeps coming at opponents and gave yourself a real opportunity coming down the stretch, and that's a good trademark that gets you over the hump.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm really proud of our team so far. I think Coach Jay touched on it a little bit. We never kind of felt like we were out of the game in either situations, Duke or Iowa State. So I felt like we fought hard till the end, and that's really important, especially on the road. So. And
you got to be looking forward not only to the last two non-conference games, but the Big Ten season. You've been through it many times. It's competitive, but also a lot of fun. Get the juices flowing.
Yeah, we're really excited for Big Ten. I'm really glad we can come out against Michigan State and just kind of show what Iowa basketball is all about. If we can kind of keep that third quarter up, I think always, that'll be a good thing.
Well, you were certainly a big part of that third quarter, and we look forward to more. McKenna, thanks so much for stopping by, and let's do it again.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having us.
And we appreciate everybody coming out. Coach Jan Jensen, Logan Cook, and McKenna Warnock here on Hawkeye.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, this has been Hawk Talk with Lisa Bluder. Brought to you by Bud Light. It's for the fans. Hy-Vee, the official grocer partner of Iowa Hawkeyes basketball. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Governor's Traffic and Safety Bureau by the Iowa Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau, who reminds you to click it or ticket day or night. By University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Bank, life keeps moving. We're here for every step. U.S. Bank, member FDIC. And by Authentic Brand. Look authentic, feel authentic, be authentic. Get your game day gear online at authentic-brand.com. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network. On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, this is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. Now, here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome into the Hyatt Regency in Coralville at the Edgewater Grill and Bar, where you can enjoy extended happy hour until 8:30 because Bobby and I are here. So come on out. It's Hawk Talk with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. From now until 8:30 tonight, you just heard Rob Brooks along with Coach Bluder and part of her staff and a couple players. It was great to hear them on the radio on the way in here tonight. The Hawkeye women are ranked 14th in the new poll despite a defeat at Iowa State last week. So good luck to the Hawks. Of course, they're in the middle of their final semester exam finals, as are the men. Final exams week before semester break, and then here's to the Hawks breaking a 3-game losing skid as they face Utah State Saturday night at the Sanford Pentagon up in Sioux Falls. Bobby Hansen and I will be there to bring all the action to you. Utah State out of the Mountain West Conference, and a good basketball team. They, like Iowa, are 7-3 on the season, and we'll chronicle that game tonight, who their best players are, how are the Hawkeyes doing coming out of Ames last Thursday night. Great effort by the Hawks, but, man, I'll tell you, that Iowa State team, they can D up, and the Hawks will be better for it going forward. They lost that game 73-53. As I mentioned, we're at the Hyatt Regency's Edgewater Grill and Bar. You can enjoy extended happy hour until 8:30. Come and try their brand new menu. Brand new menu. We'll be picking some items off that menu to pass along to you tonight. And enjoy nightly specials, including $2 Michelob drafts, half-off glasses of select wines, and we've got a rabid fan base here who really enjoys that Cabernet and that red in particular. Buy one, get half off appetizers and sandwiches. How about that? Buy one, get one half off of appetizers and sandwiches. Each time you come to the Fran McCaffery Show, you'll be entered into the hotel's drawing to win a range of prizes, including a free night's giveaway here at the beautiful Hyatt. All entries will be pooled together for a grand prize drawing at the end of the season. Thanks to Matt and his staff here at the Hyatt Regency. Several ways you can reach Coach McCaffery tonight. Of course, the best way is come on in, shake his hand, say hi to him, and ask him a question or a comment. We'll get you on the air. Otherwise, there's Twitter at Gary Dolphin, Twitter at Gary Dolphin. Facebook is facebook.com/voice of the Hawks. Please send us your question or comment. Or you can call in the old-fashioned way on the U.S. Cellular Hawkeye Hotline, 877-464-2957. 1-877-GO-HAWKS, if that's easier to remember. Happy holidays. We're a couple weeks out from Christmas. Bobby, how you doing?
Doing good, my man. How are you? Enjoy the rest of your weekend?
Enjoyed the weekend. I don't know if it's a weekend off. Watched a lot of basketball and took a look at the Utah State-Oklahoma game a couple times. They knocked off Oklahoma earlier this season. Utah State just played a couple nights back and won by 30 over Weber State. Brigham Young, who's ranked number 23, beat them by 10 this past weekend. So this is a team, a good basketball team out of a good league. That Mountain West plays good basketball.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary, and know the school well. You know, I played 7 years out there in Salt Lake City.
That's right.
Utah State is just north of Salt Lake City, up in Logan, Utah. It's a beautiful area of the country. Beautiful mountains up there, and yeah, they're playing right there with BYU, Utah in the Pac-12, and then Utah
Nevada,
State,
where Steve Alford is. Huh?
Yeah, he's in the Mountain West, Colorado State as well. So they play good basketball, and you get a team that has kind of been overhauled a little bit. New coach, Coach Odom, came from UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And if that rings a bell, because they were number 16 seed that knocked off number 1 Virginia a few years back in the NCAA tournament. And then I believe, I don't know, Coach McCaffery can fill us in, I think Virginia went on to win it the next year, the national title.
That would have been 2019.
Something like that. It could have been reversed in there, yeah.
No, but your point is that Coach Odom can get his guys up.
Yeah.
And they'll be fired up on Saturday night. You and I have been to the Pentagon on the Sanford Medical Complex up there out near the airport in Sioux Falls. First off, it's a beautiful city, beautiful area, right across the Iowa border. There'll be a lot of black and gold there on Saturday night. And the building itself is patterned after the old Boston Garden. Seats about 3,500. Talk about homey. I mean, it is really, it's like putting your feet up on the recliner or the footstool, lean back in your rocker recliner, and watch college basketball. It's that close. It's that homey.
And they use it a lot up there in Sioux Falls. There's a couple of Sanford convention centers. He has dumped a lot of money into the hospital system up there, done great things for that community. Great community just across the border of South Dakota and Iowa, Nebraska over there. And as you mentioned, Gary, we're going to get a ton of Hawkeye fans come over from Sioux City. When we were up there last, knocked off Colorado. That was a really good game. Yeah, when the Hawks were last up there, they ran into a buzzsaw in Gonzaga. Yeah, no fans in attendance for that one other than family. But, yeah, it was a great trip up there. Colorado, I remember a blizzard driving up through that. It seemed like we were going uphill both ways to Sioux Falls during that trip up there. But, yeah, looking forward to it. No doubt the kids are in the middle of their semester exams, their final exams. You get a week off and a week to heal up the bumps and bruises and sprains.
Creighton just played Brigham Young up in the Pentagon this weekend. It seems like anymore they have a game every weekend or some type of an invitational. And if you're following the geography here, well, wait a minute, okay, BYU, a lot of Northwest teams coming to Sioux Falls to play a Big Ten team. Well, that's intentional.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
they have to travel too far.
Don't have to go too far. They got a real nice airport up there, and got easy access to a lot of hubs around the country. So, yeah, they do a fantastic job. The committee up there that brings the Convention or Visitors Bureau, the Sports Commission up there that organizes these games, these special games, these tournaments, as you mentioned, Gary, and also a lot of youth basketball, youth volleyball that they use that building for. In the Pentagon, it's, five-sided as a Pentagon is, and the thing that I found unique and really cool about it is the scoreboard. Scoreboard is the old-fashioned fair play.
Round clock,
tick,
right?
Tick, 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 tick. So you better know how much time's left on the clock.
You can watch the minute hand slowly circle.
Yep.
Or do a lap. Coach isn't here yet. He'll be with us shortly. But you mentioned all the years you spent in Utah. You also won a world championship with the Chicago Bulls. Man, I heard that news on the way down here today. The Bulls have had to postpone 2 games. They have 10 people either on the roster or coaching or within the organization that are under COVID protocol watch. Man, oh man, it's something every week, isn't it, with this COVID?
Yeah, it just ain't going away, Gary. And I thought it would by now, to be honest with you, but I'm not a doctor. It was just wishful thinking and the different variants from Delta to Omicron. And I'm in contact with Stacy King. About every other day I check on Big Stacy. He's got it bad, and he was double vaccinated, boosted, and Bill Wennington as well. They had to leave him down in Miami. He does the radio for the Bulls. He's a big man as well, and he's taking a medical ambulance 20-hour ride, I think, up from Miami starting this evening. But, it hit them hard, and in conjunction with the Chicago Department of Public Health and the NBA, they just not able to play these next 2 games coming up, one at home and then one at Toronto. And then I'm not sure after that, but family, we are planning on going in next Wednesday night when they play Nick Nurse and the Toronto Raptors at home. Don't know if that's going to be played or not. I'm still in touch with Stacy.
Well, let's hope so. And man, oh man, there's a question mark every day regarding which virus and COVID in general. So stay safe. That's all we can say. We're here for Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. We're fine in here. Come on in. We'd love to see you tonight on Hawk Talk with the head coach. On the football front, the Hawkeyes are officially bowl eligible and offered an invitation to the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, which they've gladly accepted. Head to HawkeyeSports.com/Bowl Central and view information on game tickets, air travel, and hotel. That's HawkeyeSports.com/Bowl Central and view information on game tickets, hotel, and air travel. And the whole package is presented by Travel Leaders Destinations Unlimited, Iowa's official bowl tour. By the way, if you miss any part of tonight's show, subscribe to the Fight for Iowa podcast feed and get full broadcast replays of Hawk Talk, our weekly Fight for Iowa and Herky's Voice podcasts, exclusive game day content, and more. Head to your favorite podcast app and search for the Fight for Iowa podcast. On the football front today, more great news for Iowa coming off that 10-3 season. Junior center Tyler Linderbaum was named first-team All-America by the Associated Press. No shock there. Senior defensive back Riley Moss was named third-team All-America on the AP Honor Squad. And kicker Caleb Shudak landed on the All-America team as well. Honorable mention for Caleb. Congratulations to our 3 Hawkeye All-Americans. Caleb Shudak actually made the third team, he and cornerback Riley Moss on the third team, Tyler Linderbaum. First team, of course, Tyler won the Remington Award when we were in Ames the other night. He's having quite a year, and he's got quite a future ahead of him.
Yeah, he really does. And the best, what that means for those listening out there may not be familiar with it, Dave Remington was a great Nebraska center from a few decades ago, and they named the award after him, National Award. Tyler Linderbaum, very deserving young man out of Solon, Iowa. Congratulations to Tyler, Riley, and Caleb.
We're at the Edgewater Grill and Bar, our spot for Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery all fall and winter long. And you're welcome to come on out and join us here. They've got great food. In fact, they rolled out a new menu. Matt and the crew rolled out a new menu just last week during the show. For starters, how about cheese curds, bruschetta, fried tortillas, pulled pork cheese fries. Does that sound good? Sure does. Of course, they got the usual staples, the chicken wings, buffalo cauliflower. That's buffalo baked cauliflower topped with blue cheese crumbles, served with ranch or blue cheese dressing, and basil hummus. That's not his name. It's actually basil, isn't it? Long A? It's
Basil,
not,
yes.
Yeah, basil hummus. That's hummus, basil oil, grilled naan, and seasonal vegetables for you veggie fans, of which Bobby and I are passionate vegetable fans. Now, on the entrees, the main dishes, how about the Berkshire chop, baked macaroni and cheese, the New Orleans bucatini. What do you like, the baked macaroni and cheese?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every day.
You are a mac and cheese guy.
Good on the belly.
Yes. Is it? Well, they've got grilled salmon, which I know you like.
Fran's favorite.
Yep, that's
Gotta
right.
get
Well, in
Fran
fact,
some
he
of that.
had it a couple weeks ago. I saw
I know he loves salmon.
Gnawing on
that
it
and
right
chicken
after
parm.
the show. Chicken parm. They got the filet. They got the sirloin. All good. And I haven't even gotten to the sandwiches yet, but just wanted to roll out the good stuff, the entrees, before we take a look at sandwiches, soups, and desserts. All available at the Edgewater Grill and Bar. We're at Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. We'll come back in just a minute after our first time out of the evening. Again, you can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks, or on the toll-free U.S. Cellular Hawkeye hotline at 877-464-2957. U.S. Cellular is America's locally grown wireless with a nationwide network built from your town up. We're proud to be the official wireless provider of the Iowa Hawkeyes. You're hearing Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from Learfield.
Anything can happen when the Cyclones and Hawkeyes come to compete. It's where the rubber meets the road. Neighbors become rivals and friends become foes. Some go home broken-hearted, while others are victorious. When the dust finally settles, one thing stands true. No matter which side you're on, you're part of tradition for those who are Iowan through and through. We're Iowa Corn, a proud sponsor of the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to U.S. Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with U.S. Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
This is John.
Hey, my name is John Jackson.
He's not some actor. He's a steward of the land with a John Deere 3 Series tractor and a PTO Quick Connect that hooks up rear implements with a single click. John runs with us because to him, there's nothing more important than connecting with the land. Nothing runs like a Deere. Hear John's story at Deere.com.
Stop by your local John Deere dealer for a test drive today or learn more at Deere.com. Your Iowa John Deere dealers, proud sponsors of Hawkeye basketball. Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly transformed Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center. Located in the heart of the Iowa River Landing, walking distance to Extreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeyes volleyball team, as well as some great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency is the new home of Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery this fall. Come find your place at Hyatt Regency, where we care for people so they can be their best.
And welcome back to the Edgewater Grill and Bar inside the comfy and cozy Hyatt Regency. Thanks to Matt and his staff for being such gracious hosts. Again, you can join us each week at Hawk Talk at the Hyatt Regency Coralville's Edgewater Grill and Bar, where you can enjoy extended happy hour until 8:30. And they've got that brand new menu. I mentioned some of the items on there a moment ago. Coach McCaffery has joined us. Threw out that grilled salmon. I know that's one of your go-tos.
Yeah, that's a great way to go right there. And it's healthy too, Dal.
It is. You got broccoli, veggies.
That's how you eat.
Why are you looking at me like that? It's healthy too, Dolph.
I mean, it's suggestion.
Next is coming. It doesn't do you any good, but it is healthy, Dolph. Well, we haven't reconvened here. Bobby and I were just talking about the Iowa State game last Thursday. You've had a couple days to look at the tape and digest it. I mean, you knew they were going to D you up. That's been their hallmark so far this season.
Yeah, we didn't make some shots that we normally would make. They kind of sped us up a little bit, but I thought we had some good looks. We had a couple situations where things could have gone differently. I don't know if you remember the play in the first half. We're up 15-11, and we miss. Connor gets the rebound, kicks it to Keegan. He's wide open, in and out, and they push it and hit a three. So instead of being 18-11, it's 15-14. Those kinds of plays. And you got to give them credit because they made some plays, and we had some guys playing really hard. We really didn't seem to get anything going consistently. We kind of played in spurts. You're on the road in that kind of environment. You have to be a little more consistent. So those are the things we talked about. You break the film down. You show them some of the good things we did, some of the things we should have done differently. Obviously, rebounding has been a problem the last 3 games, and it was a problem in that one. I thought, we were anxious to get our running game going, and we were leaking a little bit, so some of those tap outs, those long rebounds, it's up to the guards more than it is the big guys. So we'll have to try to get that figured out because, Saturday's a really good offensive rebounding team as well, Utah State.
You knew they were going to get in your way of your running game, Coach, and as you've said often, if you hit shots, that takes that attempt away because now you can set up your 1-2-2 and get them going sideways.
We had some success with that, but then we kind of overextended and gambled a little bit, and they took advantage of it. They threw deep and got some easy baskets. The activity level in the zone was good for a minute, and then it wasn't. It was not consistent. And that has been the challenge, if we're playing a 1-2-2, or if we're playing our man-to-man or playing our zone, let's get a little more consistent. Let's get consecutive stops. And that's something that we chart, and we didn't have enough 3 in a rows. You have 3 stops in a row, and if you have a substantial amount of 3 in a rows, you're probably going to be in good shape. And we didn't have enough. And
back to the rebounding, Coach. Part of that 3 and out is securing the defensive rebound, and just again wasn't bouncing that way. I mean, I saw guys, they were blocking out and coming over the top and just a little quicker off their feet.
It's funny because, we talk about blocking out all the time, and it's important. But it's changed a little, Bobby, because teams now are shooting so many threes. Mm-hmm. So, you're blocking out and the ball's bouncing deep. We always laugh because I don't know if you remember this, but, John Wooden always said, he never told his players to block out. He said, just go get the ball. Turn and go attack the ball. Now, that requires, as you know, Bob, having played for so many years, a sense of where the ball's coming. So if you're on the perimeter and the shot goes, I can tell that it's going to go on this side or the other side, or it's a hard shot, it's a soft shot, it's a floater, it's going to come off right near the rim, that kind of thing. So having that sense of where to go, and then when the ball's loose, can you get those 50-50s? Remember, there's a 50-50 ball in front of our bench. We got there late and ended up dunking the ball. If we have a run out there, we were up, and they went on like a 7-0 run after they dunked the ball there. So, you got to try to get those 50-50s as well.
And Coach, in practice, what do you do to work on the rebounding part of it? I know I've seen Michigan State and their put football gear on and all that craziness, but what do you guys do to work on it?
Well, the first thing we do is we show it to them, and then we stress it, then we do drills for it. We'll stop play and, point out, hey, look, where you going? You got to stay in. It's funny, when I worked for Digger, he used to do a drill He called it the Manhattan drill. I don't know why he called it the Manhattan drill, but that's what he called it. And anytime he thought we weren't tough enough or hadn't rebounded enough, we would do that drill in practice. But what would happen is it would become World War III, and somebody would inevitably get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Then he'd be mad. Why did you guys run the Manhattan drill? I didn't tell you to do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, it really comes down to you're having ability to have a keen sense, and then going and get the ball. You know, we always say tag and pursue. So, you know, the old reverse pivot and H up and get the guy. You know, guys are just throwing you out of the way now. They're not going to call that. Guys just take their hands and put them on you. So you gotta stop their run, and in turn and attack. And again, like, don't be running under the basket as it's bouncing over your head. Have a sense that it's gonna come long.
That's where Garza was so good. You mentioned anticipating or looking at the shot itself, and he always knew where the ball was coming off.
He had a great pair of hands too, Dolph.
He did.
Or does. If his hand was anywhere near the ball, he got it. You know, he's one of those guys. LaFonso Ellis was that way. He could get a one-handed traffic rebound. Garza could do that too. So he's holding you off with his left arm, and he's getting a one-handed traffic rebound and outletting it, and then beating everybody down the floor. You know, and then when you have a guy like that, the value of that every possession and how that manifests itself over time is really hard to duplicate. But that's why, you know, he's the National Player of the Year.
And Coach, you brought up a good thing. I read a really, really nice article on LaFonso Ellis this weekend. His name was put in the Notre Dame Ring of Honor. You were prominent in the article talking about, you know, what a person that he is, better person that he is.
Yeah, Billy Taylor and I did a video for, because they had an event on Friday night.
Okay.
Where all the former players and coaches, they had like a dinner for him, just close people. And then Saturday he was recognized at the game and spoke. Really wish I could have been there. I would like to have gone. You know, obviously we're busy coming off the game, getting ready for the next one, but also, you know, my son Jack played Friday night. I wanted to go to the Liberty game. You know, it's a rivalry game. So you got things going when you're in season like that.
Well, Coach, you've got a week off here, or the players are in final semester exams before resuming play Saturday, and we've asked you this before. The routine is pretty much the same year to year, isn't it? You've got everybody's schedule figured out when they're in the classroom and when you can get them in the gym.
Yeah, so tomorrow, for example, we're going to practice at noon, which we never do, but we are tomorrow because that's what fits everybody's schedule. You know, the guys know they have some flexibility, like Patrick today. He's still nursing that leg injury, so he was going to do some stuff, but he has a test tonight. It's weird. Like, he has an exam tonight at 8 o'clock. So
8 o'clock?
Yeah, 8 o'clock tonight. So I said, look, you need to go get your treatment and go study and go do well on that exam. You know, some guys, like, he has 4. Some guys only have 1, maybe 2, because they have big papers to write, so they're working on their paper. So you want to make sure that they know they have, you know, our full support if they need to go over to the Learning Center, if they need assistance, if they're behind, if they need a tutor, and take care of business because we want to get through this week. But also, we've got some guys banged up, so they got to get in and see Brad. We also had it set up for our guys to get boosters right after the Iowa State game because we had 8 days off. So it's okay, get your boosters. So we got that done.
A lot going on.
Yeah, so there's you know, but that's the way it is all the time.
And for the most part, you're able to get enough players there to practice, right, day to day?
Well, I think that's the important thing, Dolph, because, you know, it's not so much, okay, we're going to go through the scouting report for the Utah State game on a Monday. But what you need to do is get up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, work on our stuff, conditioning, get some shots up, do some shooting drills, you know, and you know, keep your cardiovascular system where it needs to be. Work on your jumper a little bit, you know, and just get out and play together. You know, we worked on 3 or 4 different things that we do on offense, and make sure we stay sharp with that. You know, so we worked mostly on offense today. We'll work a little bit more on defense tomorrow.
You were talking about things you did well at Iowa State, and there certainly were some. I thought Tony Perkins, again, had a solid floor game for the most part, and we had him on the postgame afterwards, and he talked more about things he needs to work on and correct. And you know, there's a young guy in control of his game and working hard.
He came off the bench with great energy, which he always does. he kind of impacts the game when he comes in. He made a mistake in the second half, right in front of our bench, and immediately said, "Coach, he just like, Coach, that's on me. I shouldn't have done that." And it's an incredible amount of maturity. We can discuss whether it was a mistake later. Just run back, but he's a conscientious young man. He wants to follow the game plan, and he doesn't want to make mistakes. But I always say, we don't expect perfection. It's not a game of perfect. If you make a mistake on offense, run back and don't let them score. And get your defense set up, compete on the glass. It's common that you're going to make some mistakes. You're on the road. They're a good team. They're playing very intense defense. It's loud in there. You might take a bad shot or put your head down and drive into a pack of people and put up a lousy shot or cough it up. But get back, and ultimately what you want them to do is just be connected at both ends. And I thought offensively we were a little bit disjointed in that game.
Coach, before we leave that one in Ames, Jordan Bohannon, the way he played in ultra hostile environment, and you mentioned afterwards you're proud of his response.
Did you expect anything else from him?
No.
I did not. He's really, I think, Bobby, showing a lot of leadership. He was really good in that game. He was rock solid. He made shots. He made plays. But he was talking to the young guys out there and communicating with them. And, I rely on he and Connor in particular at halftime. You might have seen me talking to Jordan going off the floor. Keegan had a rough first half, was 0 for 7. I said, before we come in there, you need to put your arm around him and get him from a confident standpoint back where he needs to be, because he's going to have a big second half for us. As you recall, he had 6 offensive rebounds in the second. We were struggling to rebound, and we weren't shooting it well. So somebody better go back and get us a few, right? If we're missing shots, you better go back and get a few. And he did that, So we challenged him to do that, and he did it. And that's what you love about Keegan. So really proud of Jordan and his leadership, how he played. The guy really is kind of amazing in terms of his ability to tune out the noise, the static, the negativity, and just kind of stay. Yeah, he embraces it, and he just stays true to his job description and figuring out what he can do to help our team at any given point. If we're ahead, if we're behind, whatever, home, road, and as you know, Bobby, there's such incredible value to that as a coach, but as a teammate as well, more importantly.
Well, final thing, I said that before, but this is the final thing. The obscene chant inside of Hilton, I thought was uncalled for, embarrassed for them, and embarrassed for the family, the Bohannon family. It's got to sit there and listen to the vulgarity.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bobby, that's the world we live in. It's not uncommon. It shouldn't happen. You're right. It's disappointing, but he's a guy that's going to be marked. He welcomes it. He accepts the challenge, and it doesn't bother. But that would bother a lot of people. It didn't bother him.
No,
and
just kind of smiled.
Everybody said to me, "What do you think?" I said, "It's not going to bother him. I mean, he's just going to keep hooping and make shots for us and make plays for us. I'm just, like I've always said, I always say the one thing: I'm glad he plays for us."
Yeah.
17 points, bolstered by a team best 3 threes. And Coach, his free throw shooting was a catalyst for your best free throw effort of the night in a hostile environment. Hawks made 14 of 15, 93%. You'll take that every night out.
Yeah, I would have preferred to shoot a few more. Yeah. That would have made me feel a lot better. But we'll take 14 from 15.
I hear you. With that, we'll step out and take a break. We're going to come back, talk about Utah State out of the Mountain West Conference. That's Iowa's next opponent on Saturday night, coming up from the beautiful Pentagon in Sioux Falls, the Sanford Pentagon. We're at Hawk Talk tonight here with Coach McCaffery and with Bobby Hansen. Our engineer-producer is Corey Sheets. I'm Gary Dolphin. Our Hawk Talk is brought to you with Coach McCaffery by Bud Light. Bud Light proudly and gladly welcomes Hawk fans back to Carver Hawkeye Arena this year. Iowa's next home game is a week from tomorrow night. We'll talk about that before we leave air. And fans, get my new favorite Hawkeye shirt from Authentic Brand. It's called the Corey by Authentic Brand. It's a stylish half zip featuring butter soft Scuba Knit Performance Fabric. How about that description, huh? Run out and buy one right now. Visit one of our fine retailers nearest you or order online at authentic-brand.com for fast, free delivery. That's authentic-brand.com. This is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from Learfield.
What are you craving? The Wig and Pin in Ankeny, across from DMAC, is proud to offer dine-in and carry-out. Home of the famous Flying Tomato Pizza and Chicago-style deep dish, the Wig has all of your favorites, including thin crust pizza, appetizers, lots of sandwiches like the Turkey Club and Reuben, soups and salads you'll love, and a full bar. Call to order or just come on in for lunch and dinner. The Wig and Pin in Ankeny. What are you craving?
Hi, Hawk fans. Gary Dolphin here. I want to tell you about my new favorite Iowa Hawkeye shirt. It's called The Corey by Authentic Brand. The stylish half-zip features butter-soft scuba knit performance fabric. Everyone at your tailgate will want one. To outfit your life in Authentic Brand gear, visit one of our fine retailers near you or order online at authentic-brand.com. You'll get fast, free delivery. Authentic Brand by TCB Companies.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
In Iowa, we grow corn, a lot of corn. We love seeing our farmers in the fields, and although they're perfect strangers, we know them. We know them by their equipment covered in dust. We know them by their work ethic, where days off don't exist. We know them by the way they wave, passing strangers alike on a two-lane road. We know them in the midst of our kitchen as we prepare another family meal. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. The Iowa corn farmers are proud to be on the sidelines for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
The holiday season is here. Time for laughter and time for cheer. This year, enjoy spending time celebrating with family and friends. Just remember, buzz driving is drunk driving. If you're going to drink, plan another way home before the celebration begins and encourage your friends and family to do the same. Even one too many drinks increases the risk of a crash while driving. Be responsible and have a happy holidays. This message is brought to you by the Iowa Department of Public Safety, the Governor's Traffic Safety Bureau, and your local law enforcement.
The next time you visit Eastern Iowa, check out the official local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Jill Armstrong team with Skogman Realty, Bachmeyer Carpet One, Floor and Home, Klosterman Construction, and the Hotel at Kirkwood Center, Iowa's premier luxury hotel, named Iowa Tourism's 2021 Hotel of the Year and awarded the AAA 4-Diamond Award for lodging. To make reservations, visit thehotelatkirkwood.com or call 877-751-5111 for more information.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk. We're live with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. Thank you for coming out tonight. We've got a few folks here enjoying fine dining at the beautiful Edgewater Grill and Bar. Stop in. We've got flat screens, which is pumping out college basketball as well as Monday night football. Who is it? It's looks like the Rams and Arizona, a couple powerhouses in the West Division. And is that Albany, New York? Albany, I see on the air with Boston
that's
College?
Albany versus Boston College, and Trey Hutchison from Linn-Mar.
That's right.
Patrick's good friends. They played ball growing up together. He starts for Albany.
You know, that school, Coach, in that area has recruited a lot of Iowa kids down through the years.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them when I was at Siena. Brent Wilson and Lillis.
Yes.
You know, his sister, of course, is played at Iowa. Great coach, Jenny. But he was the player of the year in that league. He was a really good player. Brian Lillis.
Dowling kids.
Yeah, those two guys were really. And when I first got here, they were in heavy on Jared Uthoff as a youngster. And then then he kind of blew up a little bit and became a Big Ten recruit.
Yeah, they've recruited some Linn-Mar kids out there. I mean, I'm going way back now, but let's go to Twitter before we start talking Utah State. Coach Mark says, Fran, can you Tell us how Keegan's ankle's doing and how Connor's hips are holding up so far this season.
See, the problem with Connor's hips, they're fine, but his back is bothering him as a result probably of those surgeries. So that's been, like, I put him in the other day. He got the big offensive rebound, kicked it to Keegan, was, kind of making an impact in the game. And next thing you know, he says, you got to get me out. I don't know if you remember, there was a play down at the other end, and he fell on the ground. And he got up, funny, and he came to the bench. I said, you okay? He said, got to get me out. Take me out. Keegan's ankle. Keegan is a tough kid. He's a little sore. Maybe not quite as explosive, but, he can play. I mean, he played. He did a lot of good things. And he just, the good thing is this week came, and he's got a bunch of treatment sessions, and he's had, more than a couple days to, it's not swollen anymore, and it's a little bit sore. Those things can sometimes linger on you. It's lingering a little bit, but not to where it's going to preclude him from playing.
Talk about Chris's development. Rightfully so. You can see he was getting frustrated at a couple of junctures at Iowa State and that intensity and that kind of game. And, he's still learning. He's still coming on. He hasn't played as much as he wants to.
But he's gonna, and he knows it. And we need him. Sometimes, we'll play he and his brother. He'll come in for Phillip. So we need those guys to rebound really well. And, he likes to play on the perimeter. He's a really good shooter. He can put it on the deck and get to the rim. And, so now you got to go in there and wrestle with a guy who might be, as big as Kofi or Travion, things like that. So, it's an adjustment for him. And he's got a great attitude. And he'll just keep getting better. I'm really proud of him.
Coach Joe Toussaint, a little bit of a rough stretch here for Joe, and it seems to get down on himself just a little bit. How do you keep him up? And
we talked yesterday. He does get down on himself. I thought he said the last person that needs to get down on you is you. Yeah. Never. Like, you got to be your own biggest fan. And sometimes he wants to impact the game and he tries. For you as a point guard is I need you to engineer victory. Don't feel like you have to go get buckets right now, or you have to make a play right now. Sometimes you move it, then you drive and kick it, and then maybe you drive all the way and score. But impact the game defensively. I said we need our guards to rebound, and you're a really good rebounding guard. So do that, and I think he's in a good place. He had a good practice today.
Coach Fred down in Oskaloosa says asks if Fran can get rid of one violation or referee call in the college game today, what would it be? I'm guessing there's more than one, but what would be at the top of your list to eliminate or get rid of?
One of the things that I really like is in recent years they've tried to identify flopping and call it. I wish they would get it right. And I'm not saying it's easy because so many kids now are trying their best to fool the officials. And that's not right. So, like, for example, you might run by a guy, and he's going, and you're going, and they grab you and pull you down, and they call you for a travel. So it's not just flopping, where a guy runs in front of you and falls down. There was one play in that game which really upset me. The guy ran in front of, I forget who it was down away from in front of their bench, and just fell down in front of him, and they called a charge. Said he was pushing off. I said, no, he wasn't. The kid ran in front of him and fell down. Stop calling it.
That'd have been Aaron.
Stop calling that.
It was right left of the lane.
No, it was not an offensive foul. Don't call it that way. So those are the ones that really, if you see me get going, which I was going good after that call.
You were?
Yeah, I was going pretty good. And
you had your back to us. We couldn't really tell.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing.
You had your back to us, and I could still read your lips. Now, or maybe I could hear your lips.
Yeah, you heard me, Dolph.
Tom says, hey, I've listened to Connor and Patrick's new podcast. Were you consulted when they came up with the idea, and will you be a future guest?
Well, it wasn't my idea, but I think it's wonderful. They're learning. This whole NIL stuff for them, this is one component of it. It's real life experience. So, you get approached by a business. Now you have to talk to the folks that own that business. You have to try to figure out what your market value is, what's fair. And I will tell you, all the people that have dealt with both of them have really tried to be fair.
Sure.
And you have to sign a contract, read a contract, sign it, and then you have to produce, whether it be you're doing a commercial or you're doing a podcast or you're doing a personal appearance, whatever it is. And what it does is it helps our players engage with the community in a very positive way. So the podcast is different. You have to talk for an hour, so you have to have questions prepared. They interviewed the Murray twins. I listened to it on the way over here. And it's funny because the Murray twins are hilarious together. One-on-one, they're so different than when they're together. And all they do is give each other a hard time.
They're getting after each other, I'll bet. Yeah. Brothers.
And it's just funny to listen to. And they remember everything that the other one did and remind them of it. So, I think they've had to have a sense of humor. They've had to, be serious. They interviewed, the Murray twins, and they also did Matthew and Michael Hurt, two other brothers. Matthew played at Duke. Michael played at Minnesota. I know there's another group of brothers that are coming up that I'm not allowed to say who it is.
Exclusive.
But that'll be fun.
Well, it's part.
So so I'm proud of them. What I have done to kind of answer your question is I've critiqued them for all the years that you and I have been doing this, and I've been going back to the McCarragers used to come to our show. Their son Jeff was the radio voice of the UNCG Spartans when I was there.
That's right.
So I've been doing radio shows since the 90s, and so learning to do radio, but then podcasts are different, and you have to be careful because a lot of podcasts, they don't follow the same rules that you do. You say what you want.
Sure.
You
gotta be careful.
Curse and say off-color things, and I said, look, you have to look at it like you're doing a radio broadcast for our station or for ESPN, whatever.
Sure.
And be professional. And don't ever forget that. And because what happens sometimes is, and you hear it all the time, especially with a lot of NBA guys, they kind of let their hair down and they say stuff, and I think they regret it later. But it's just like I'm talking with my buddy. No, you're not. The whole world's listening.
Yeah.
And anybody can pull it up at any time.
For sure.
So.
And it's always out there.
Yeah. So I think they're having fun with it. They really had a good time with the Murray twins. And I enjoyed listening to that podcast. And I'm looking forward to them continuing to have fun. And they're making money.
And when you think about it, well, to that point, it's a part business class, economics, journalism, public relations.
Yeah.
So they're learning from a lot of different angles.
Yeah, I mean, so for example, like you would do, they'll be interviewing, Connor will ask Keegan a question, Keegan will answer, then Connor will have to do a spot for Hames Homes, and talk about that company. That's the sponsor for that show.
For the show.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So there you go. And part of that, Coach, before we take a break here, Coach, how has the NIL rules affected recruitment? How many of the guys on the team have deals? Seems like several of the guys have commercials or endorsements on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, that's a very complex question to answer. We have some guys with deals, and they're more than fair, and they're wonderful. You have some institutions that are just flat, The NIL is supposed to be a student athlete's ability to profit from their name, image, and likeness. That's what NIL stands for. But what that has done is blurred the lines of profiting from your name, image, and likeness and pay for play. You're not supposed to get paid for play, but that's exactly what's happening at a lot of places. So those numbers are substantially higher in some places versus others. So in terms of how it will ultimately be affecting recruiting, it will become, what am I going to make? It won't be, do you have academic support? Do you offer such a program that I'm interested in academically? What's your strength and conditioning program like? How do you travel? All of the things that for many, many years were typical questions that would have to be asked and answered to the satisfaction of the family. Now it's, all right, how's this NIL thing work? How much money am I going to make? Because you have programs you have student athletes at certain programs that are making $150,000 a year or better. You have two guys at Memphis that are making well over $1 million a year. You've seen it in the football world. There's a lot of football guys making over $1 million, but there's guys in basketball making over $1 million. So You know, I don't know how it's going to evolve.
I do.
You know, like if you have a billionaire that decides he wants to adopt your program, and maybe he's been a donor and just we're just going to pay these guys.
Far from
what's
equitable.
What's it going to take?
Yeah.
Because that's where we're at. What's it going to take to get him to come? And we've seen it already this year at one particular program.
It's going to be minor league basketball with a crowd, with 15,000 people in there going crazy.
Yeah.
College basketball will be here.
But they'll be but you know, these guys are not making minor league salaries.
No, well,
you know, they're making major league salaries. You know, 7-figure salaries.
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy.
You know, and certainly 6 figures a lot.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll preview Utah State and Iowa coming up on Saturday. Utah State out of the Mountain West against the Big Ten and the Iowa Hawkeyes at the Pentagon up in Sioux Falls. This is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from Learfield.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org. When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to US Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with US Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
There's a sense of pride that comes from the life of a farmer. How many people can say they have a famous tan named after them, or be known for their wave when they drive past neighbors and strangers alike on a 2-lane road? Whether it's a farmer's tan or the farmer's wave, we are proud to be known for a lot of things. We feel that pride every night at the dinner table, knowing we feed our family and yours. Iowa Corn is proud to be on the sidelines cheering on the Iowa Hawkeyes. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
And we're back at the Edgewater Grill and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing here in Coralville. Beautiful area. It's really exploded in growth the last couple of years, and a lot of great spots to listen to or watch a Hawkeye game if you can't make it to Carver Hawkeye Arena. But Iowa will be home next Tuesday night. We'd love to see a great crowd out at the arena. Be the first home game in a while for the Hawks. Southeastern Louisiana in a 7 o'clock tip. After that, it's Western Illinois late in the year, and then it's all the way back to Big Ten basketball, beginning with Maryland at Carver the first week in January. But prior to all those, Iowa and Utah State face off on Saturday night at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls. Fran, the Hawks have been there multiple times, and it's a great spot to go because you know you're going to have the home crowd. It's
an amazing facility, and it's amazing setup. Paul Seville is a guy that we've done a lot of business with. We went up there to play Colorado a few years ago. Then last year, the Gonzaga game. He does a great job of getting the teams together and putting those events on in a very professional way. Our fans, it's really a shame. You remember we went up there last year. I'm thinking if we would have just had our crowd for that Gonzaga game, who knows? It might have gone different. We shot 4 for 22 from 3. But our fans will be wired. They'll be ready to rock and roll. It's just an incredible basketball atmosphere. It's not a huge place.
3,500.
3,500. So it'll be, they're right on top of you. And that's when it's fun, though.
I remember that first game with Colorado.
Yeah.
A heck of a basketball game. The Hawks prevailed there.
Yep.
And Bobby?
Yeah, Fran, just back to Paul Seville, and how did this all come about? Is it just the attraction of Iowa up there in the northwest corner of the state?
Well, he's got to get a lot. He's got to get a bunch of teams over the course of time to come in. But we've been talking from the very beginning. I mean, obviously, with so many of our fans up there in that part of the country, they would like for us probably to come every year, and we'll go, because when you look for those types of events, whether it be a multiple team event or like a shootout, like when we played Cincinnati a couple years ago at the United Center, or last year when we played Gonzaga up at the Pentagon, what you're looking for are first-class events. All right? First-class venue, first-class promoters, television audience, and opportunities to expose your team to your fan base, maybe in a different part of the country. Like all the people live in Chicago that love the Hawks. It was great for them to be able to come to the United Center that day, and they'll show out in full force like they did against Colorado a couple of years ago, and they'll do that on Saturday.
Give us your overview of Utah State. I know you and Coach Odom have some history.
Well, I don't have a ton of history with Ryan, but his father recruited me.
Dave.
Yeah, his father recruited me
I didn't
to go
know
to
that.
Wake Forest. Yeah, so he was my coach at 5-star basketball camp.
Great coach.
So I know Ryan well through his dad, and have been impressed with the job that he's done. He did a great job at UMBC. Remember, they were the only team that from 16 that beat 1.
Yeah, Virginia.
He's done a great job. He brought 2 guys with him.
So, Frank, give us the timeline of that. I was reading it earlier today, and I couldn't remember. Was it prior to Virginia winning the national championship, or the year after they won the national championship?
It was.
I can't remember.
It was the year before.
Yeah. Before, and then Virginia went on to win.
It was the year before. Then Virginia came back the next year and won the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they have a kid by the name of Bean.
Justin Bean.
He's as good as anybody that we'll face all year long.
How would you compare him? I look at him like a little bit of Jared Utoff, and a little bit older. He did a 2-year Mormon mission that I saw.
He's a pro. He's 6'8". He can shoot the 3. He can put it on the deck. He's a really good passer. He's a phenomenal rebounder. He's one of the top 5 or 6 in the country statistically. Like E.J. Liddell, him. There's 3 or 4 guys that are just, they grade out numerically different than everybody else. I mean, he just keeps coming, this guy.
He can shoot it.
Yeah, they got the kid, Rylan Jones, transferred from Utah. They got the 2 kids transferred from UMBC. It's the new world.
Yeah,
you look at the roster.
Portal, yeah.
They lost some guys, and they picked up some guys. So Ryan's done a good job because he's a new coach with essentially a new team. Now, Bean's back. That helps.
Yeah.
It's great to start with a guy who's going to average 22 and get you 11 rebounds every night. We'll start there.
And one of the young guys that transferred over from UMBC is 6'10", almost 7 foot, Brandon Horvath. He's a senior.
He's a terrific shooter. So you look at 6'10", he's playing the center position. Well, he's really kind of a mobile 5. Rip and drive you, dunk it, shoot threes. He's thin, but got athletic power. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an R.J. Rock. You got to love that name for basketball. The other transfer from UMBC. He's a guard, 6'4".
It's Idle Rock.
Idle Rock.
Yeah, he's got a hyphenated name.
It's one of those.
He's an interesting player too. He's kind of a powerful athlete. You look at him and say, well, he's a forward. Then you look at him and say, no, he's a guard. He's got a pretty complete skill set, and he attacks the rim. And again, veteran guys. They're all veterans.
Yeah.
They're all old. Every team we play has old guys. Is there anywhere for a freshman to go anymore?
Well, he only had 6 transfers last week with the Cyclones, and now you've got at least
more than that.
3?
I think it was more than that.
Free agency,
and we had 9 for, was it Portland State? There was 9.
Yeah. Now, Ryland Jones, from Utah to Utah State, I mean, that takes some courage.
Patrick played against him a lot growing up over the years in the AAU circuit, and they went to the NBA Players Association camp together and knows him well. He's good.
Coach, we had a question. You talk about all the transfers. Not sure where it went, but it was is the basketball transfer portal the same as the football transfer portal, or is it one big, gigantic melting pot?
Football does whatever they do. You know, we do whatever we do.
So there's a separate transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, all it means is, used to be, if you wanted to transfer, you had to come into the administration, fill out paperwork, I want to transfer, and then we could decide where to send your stuff. Like we had control. So in other words, the only way I would ever block your transfer, if you wanted to transfer, would be if I thought you were tampered with. Okay, but now everything is, goes. The rules favor the player. They always favored the institution. Now they favor the player. So if a player wants to leave, he just says, "Okay, I'm going to put my name in the portal." And you still have to sign something. Your name goes in the portal, and then used to be teams would have to ask permission to speak. Now they can just speak right away to whoever they want to talk to.
You can get a hold of them right now.
And the question is, what about that NIL thing?
First thing, right?
From that player, I suppose, yeah.
Well, like if you're leaving and you had NIL deals, I mean, I guess the deals are still on, but if you leave the school, then the deal's off. I mean, I don't even know if they put those clauses. We talked about reading contracts before. I mean, maybe that's something you have to consider.
Have a law firm on site.
But the idea initially was, which most people were in favor of, okay, all right, coaches can leave. Why can't the players leave and play right away? Okay, so most people would say, okay, well, that's logical. It probably shouldn't be that way. Well, what if you were tampered with? What if everybody was lying to each other? And the thing that I always said, because I transferred, so I can't be a hypocrite and say, well, you shouldn't be able to transfer when I did.
Sure.
But the thing that I always said was this: the best thing that ever happened to me was that I had to go to another place and sit out a year. So you go, you get acclimated academically, you get acclimated socially, you get acclimated to a new institution. You're you're a freshman all over again. You learn the system, you lift, you have a year, additional year academically, you have additional year athletically, you have additional year in the weight room, and you don't lose any eligibility. So what's the negative?
Yeah.
There wasn't a negative. Everybody's like, well, it's not right. Well, there's not a negative. So what's the issue?
Yeah, for sure.
You just want to leave because I didn't play 28 minutes in the last game, so now I want to leave and then I might play 28 minutes tomorrow at a new school, but I might not. I mean, there's guys I'll check box scores on guys that left. They're playing 8 minutes. And they were playing more where they left. Oh, congratulations! You transferred. You're in a new place.
Great move.
And you just ruined your whole career.
Now, do you have somebody assigned to look at that every day, the transfer portal?
Well, the transfer portal won't fill up until the season's over. Typically,
okay.
There will be some guys that will leave after Christmas. There'll be a few guys that go in.
Semester.
It used to be guys would do that so they could start school in the second semester, and then their clock
Right.
would begin differently and so forth. But the portal will fill up in the spring and summer. We had 1,800 names in there last year. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount. 1,800 names.
Unbelievable. Wow.
And a lot of those guys ended up with nowhere to go. Nobody wanted them. Put my name in the portal. Okay. Well, hopefully somebody will call you. Because what if nobody calls you? You just gave up There were kids that literally gave up their scholarship to go into the portal and then ended up without a scholarship. And the other part of the rule is the original school doesn't have to take them back. So the kids are out there in the cold.
Sad deal.
Because the whole object, like one thing that we take very seriously here is graduating our players. And that was made clear to me when I first started interviewing for this job. So we want to be committed to making sure our guys are looked after academically and that they're making satisfactory progress towards graduation, and they go ahead and graduate. So if a guy leaves, you don't want to be floundering out there and never graduate. You want them to, at least, and I can say anybody that's ever left our program left in good academic standing in a position to graduate wherever they went.
And you don't have that many people leaving in the first place. That's
no.
Good. Okay, let's pause 10 seconds. Good stuff, Fran. Good insight there. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. We're at the Edgewater Grill and Bar inside the Hyatt Regency in the Iowa River Landing in Coralville. We're on the air with Coach Fran McCaffery. This is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. A 10-second ID break here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. You're listening to Hawk Talk. And we're going to pause, step out, and hear from our wonderful advertisers, and then we'll come back with more questions or comments for Coach on Twitter, on Facebook. We've got a little bit more to talk about with Utah State. Iowa's next opponent coming up Saturday night from Sioux Falls. This is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from Learfield.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to US Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with US Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer. IRC Beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
Anything can happen when the Cyclones and Hawkeyes come to compete. It's where the rubber meets the road. Neighbors become rivals and friends become foes. Some go home broken-hearted, while others are victorious. When the dust finally settles, one thing stands true. No matter which side you're on, you're part of tradition for those who are Iowan through and through. We're Iowa Corn, a proud sponsor of the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hey, Hawk fans, Gary Dolphin here. For that extra edge that comes from looking and feeling my best, I reach for my Authentic Brand gear. The style and comfort of Authentic Brand by TCB Companies delivers that boost of confidence to be my best. Authentic Brand gear can do the same for you or your entire workforce. Outfit your life with Authentic Brand gear by TCB Companies. And don't just do it in Authentic Brand.
This is Hawk Talk from the Hyatt Regency in the Edgewater Grill and Bar. Gary Dolphin with former Hawkeye great Bobby Hansen, and we're with Iowa basketball coach Fran McCaffery. We're previewing now Utah State and Iowa at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls, the Sanford Pentagon, on Saturday night. I'm drawing a blank, Bobby. What time is that game? Is
8 o'clock Central.
That's another late game. 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock for the pregame show. Coach, Utah State, you touched on this earlier, is shooting 48% from the floor this year. Their best mark since the 2009-10 season, and they shot 50% or better from the floor in 5 games this year. Okay, how do you guard them?
Well, they spread you out. They're going to run 5 out. They have a lot of guys who can dribble, pass, and shoot. A lot of guys who can drive the basketball, including their 5-man, like I said, Horvath. They pass it. They cut well. They're an athletic group. So you got to be ready to defend some good actions, essentially. And then, they're flying at the glass because they're, think about it. They're all at the three-point line.
Yeah.
So when the shot goes, they come flying in. We call them running rebounders. So we're going to have to do a good job there. And they're a pack line defensive team. So we've seen that, obviously at Virginia. Virginia probably does as good a job as probably the best job of running pack line. A lot of teams play it. They do the best.
We talked about Justin Bean. He's second in the country in double-doubles with 7. And he ranks among the nation's best rebounders, to your point. He's 4th. He is a complete package kid out of Oklahoma. And you mentioned his size. He's 6'7", 6'8", a little over 210 pounds. And he can run or he can play half court, it sounds like.
He's as good an offensive rebounder as I've scouted on film in all my years. I mean, he just has an unbelievable knack and a tenacity. For Hawk fans, think of Nicholas Baer, how he used to do it. He'd be on the left wing and he'd get a rebound in the right corner. And you say, how did he do that? Well, he had an instinct for it, and he had a tenacity about him. So he's Nicholas Baer on the offensive glass, and he shoots threes like Utah, and he posts up, kind of like Wieskamp used to do in that mid post area, and he can shoot over you. He's got a lot of game, essentially, a lot of game.
Now Kyle has a question for all three of us, but I'll defer to you two. The Hawkeyes in this game Saturday, it looks like a great venue on television. Can you guys describe what it's like playing there? And if you would like to, what are some of favorite arenas and field houses to play at or coach at or call a game at? Well, let's start with the Pentagon because it's a throwback. It was intentionally designed after the old gardens, like the Boston Garden, the old arena.
It's one of those new arenas that's made to look old.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And they did a really good job with it. They did, and it's very nostalgic looking, and it has one of those, the feel of an old arena. And it, of course, is going to be really, really loud.
Seats are right
compact,
on the floor.
They're right on top of each other, and the intensity on each possession is what I think is fun for the players, but exciting for the fans.
Well, we talked. One of my favorite places to visit was the Palestra last year against Penn State. It was a little too warm, but other than that, what a great historic venue.
Yeah, they didn't put air conditioning in those facilities in 1926.
Oh, they didn't. But they threw ice.
Was air conditioning invented in 1926?
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, it was the old horse-drawn wagon, ice cubes. Fresh
open a window.
Yeah, they
open a window.
Open the window on a 90-degree day.
Yeah.
So, some of your favorite old buildings like that to play in for you?
Well, there's really none that I haven't. I think about it. I've coached in Allen Fieldhouse. I mean, I've played and coached in Cameron Indoor Stadium. I mean, I played in Carmichael Coliseum, which is the old Carolina place. Coached in the Dean Dome. You go right on down the line.
A lot of history
the
there.
Places in our league. Williams Arena is a classic old barn.
The barn.
I don't like the raised floor. I just don't. But it's unique to that place, and it's loud in there. I always like those old places. It's interesting, but before Penn State opened their new place where we go, I think it was the Bryce Jordan Center now, the old place is a replica of the Palestra, built by the same guy, opened this like the same year, 1 year before, 1 year later.
How about
it's
that?
It's a little smaller. It seats like 7,500. But you walk in there, you think, I'm in the Palestra. And so I coached in that building. Never played there. I coached there in 87. We went up there and beat Penn State when I was at Lehigh. And
I'm guessing you didn't play in the old Iowa Fieldhouse. You didn't have that
no,
chance.
and I'm disappointed I didn't get to a game there because so many people like yourself that I've talked to that have talk about that place. We have that beautiful black and white photo that's like 15 feet by 7 or 8 feet in our office from 1967 Indiana game, and you can't find a seat for anybody.
You couldn't.
And all the customers, all the fans are in coats and ties,
The cigarette smoke.
I mean,
drifting over the court. Well, you went from Ralph Miller to Sharm Sherman to Ralph Miller to Lute Olson. I mean, they had some great teams playing in that building.
Well, great players, great
yeah.
coaches, and an incredible fan base.
Bobby, couple of your favorite arenas that aren't named Carver Hawkeye or the Iowa Fieldhouse?
Yeah, I'd go Iowa Fieldhouse 1, Carver Hawkeye Arena 2. I like Jennison Fieldhouse at Michigan State.
Jennison,
yeah, I like old Jennison. Wisconsin had old Camp Randall, was kind of a cold old barn.
Camp Randall Fieldhouse.
I remember seeing my breath sitting there. We'd be beating them by 40 points, and everybody leave, and you sit there with frosty breath coming out.
Well, Hinkle Fieldhouse is another one.
What?
Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Butler.
Yeah, at Butler University.
That place is a classic old barn.
Hawks worked out there a few times the Big Ten tournament in the past. So there you go, Tim. Some of the Jake says, Coach, back to the Iowa State game. Iowa State very good on defense. Why would we not overload one side and get the ball in the lane that way, or am I missing something? Thanks, and go Hawks.
They're going to try to keep you to one side, so you want to try to move it one side side to side is what you're trying to do. But sometimes, if you're open, you just you shoot it, and so we took a couple shots. I thought for the most part our shot selection was good. I mentioned the one time Tony was upset with himself when he made the mistake. He kind of drove and attacked like three guys, which is exactly what they want you to do. So we did that a couple times. You start to go and you think it's there, and then you get there and it's not there. So you end up putting up a bad contested shot. So, I thought, we moved it side to side. We needed to do a better job of getting the ball inside, in and out, into the weak side. Then you can drive the closeouts, that kind of stuff, because they're going to be in the paint. No matter what side of the floor you're on, all right, they're going to be at the midpoint over. So you got to get it swung. It's the only way you can survive.
And Coach, you talk about inside.
And you got to make threes.
Josh, talk about Josh a little bit moving forward. More time for him.
Potentially, I think Josh is getting there. He's still learning, in terms of knowing exactly what we need from him. But he has been effective the last couple times I've put him in. So the more effective he is, the more playing time he'll get.
Agreed. Time for a break here. We're at the Hyatt Regency in the Edgewater Grill and Bar on Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from Learfield.
American Equity salutes today's hero of the game and is a proud sponsor of the ongoing recognition of our military at Hawkeye games this season. Thank you to all the men and women, past and present, who have served our country and allow all of us to enjoy the freedom and liberty we enjoy today. American Equity's vision is to become the premier insurance company specializing in retirement savings and income products. To learn more about our company, please visit our website at american-equity.com.
When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to US Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with US Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
What are you craving? The Wig and Pin in Ankeny, across from DMAC, is proud to offer dine-in and carry-out. Home of the famous Flying Tomato Pizza and Chicago-style deep dish, the Wig has all of your favorites, including thin crust pizza, appetizers, lots of sandwiches like the Turkey Club and Reuben, soups and salads you'll love, and a full bar. Call to order or just come on in for lunch and dinner. The Wig and Pin in Ankeny. What are you craving?
Are you looking to downsize from your family home to begin your retirement years? Our Oak Knoll East campus is for you. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director at Oak Knoll. Our new campus has many unique amenities for your active lifestyle, in addition to providing the same great services that Oak Knoll has offered our residents for over 50 years. We're now open and have a few two-bedroom apartments still available. Call me at 319-351-1720 or visit oakknoll.com to set up your personal tour. Go Hawks!
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Coach McCaffery. We're at the Hyatt Regency here in the Edgewater Grill and Bar. And hey, Hawk fans, if you're headed to Orlando for the Citrus Bowl and you're looking for a place to party, get to Howl at the Moon, where their live band plays your favorite hits and anthems from the 80s, 90s, and today, all night long. And they take requests. Be sure and check out the show at Howl at the Moon, 8815 International Drive in Orlando. Now, we will be having a special Hawk Talk from Howl at the Moon on the evening of the 30th, and more information coming on that. For tonight, we're here at the Hyatt Regency. You can enjoy a romantic evening out this New Year's Eve at the Hyatt Regency Coralville. The evening starts with a special 4-course meal and a glass of wine. Couples then enjoy an overnight stay with a late checkout and breakfast for 2 the next day. The whole package, New Year's Eve, includes all this plus complimentary parking and an in-room gift. Total cost just $249 plus taxes and gratuity. But book now. Call 319-688-4028. 319-688-4028. An abbreviated U.S. Bank scoreboard for you right now, courtesy of our friends at U.S. Bank, longtime sponsors here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Couple of college basketball games of note. Nothing in the Big Ten. Oklahoma State's in a battle at home with Cleveland State, tied at 50 in the second half. Likewise, Indiana State has a 3-point lead at North Dakota State, 57-53. And Monday Night Football, a battle for the West Division lead in the NFC. The Rams have a 10-3 lead on the Arizona Cardinals in the desert midway through the second quarter. That's our U.S. Bank scoreboard update. And this is Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery from Learfield.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you can't go to the game, doesn't mean the game can't be brought to you now here. Just go to budlight.com/delivery. That's budlight.com/delivery.
Give me 2 mangoes.
Coming at you. It's a little short. Ow. Sorry. You know what? I'm just going to walk them over to you.
Whenever there's a game to watch, there's a Bud Light there. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, and Bud Light Seltzer, IRC Beer, beer in Texas, St. Louis, Missouri.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
In Iowa, we grow corn, a lot of corn. We love seeing our farmers in the fields, and although they're perfect strangers, we know them. We know them by their equipment covered in dust. We know them by their work ethic, where days off don't exist. We know them by the way they wave, passing strangers alike on a 2-lane road. We know them in the midst of our kitchen as we prepare another family meal. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. The Iowa corn farmers are proud to be on the sidelines for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
When you build a network locally engineered for the home team, you know how important a strong connection is on game day. So you give every fan in town access to 5G at no extra charge. Now, when you switch to US Cellular, you can get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Join the nationwide network built from your town up and stay connected to your home team with US Cellular 5G. Switch today and get unlimited 5G data for only $30 a month with 4 lines. Terms apply. 5G not available everywhere. See uscellular.com for details.
Hawk fans, stop in and visit the newly transformed Hyatt Regency Coralville Hotel and Conference Center. Located in the heart of the Iowa River Landing, walking distance to Extreme Arena, home of the Iowa Hawkeyes volleyball team, as well as some great restaurants, shopping, and scenic walking trails along the Iowa River. Hyatt Regency is the new home of Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery this fall. Come find your place at Hyatt Regency, where we care for people so they can be their best.
Welcome back for our remaining moments here at the Hyatt Regency in Coralville in the Iowa River Landing. We're inside the Edgewater Grill and Bar, and we're here with Coach McCaffery each week. Gary Dauphin and Bobby Hansen. We're brought to you by Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue is caring, blue is convenient, and now blue is Medicare Advantage from Wellmark Advantage Health Plans, offering all-in-one Medicare coverage, our extensive network, and the confidence of being covered by Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more at wellmarkadvantage.com. Fran, Carol has checked in with us a lot over the years. She said, Connie, not Carol, Connie, Coach, I've heard it called shoot-around for a lot of years. What do you do at a shoot-around? Just shoot around? A little more
We do a little bit of shooting around.
You do. You do.
Well, you think about it. If we play an 8 o'clock game, you come in the night before. Sometimes we'll practice the night before at the arena, or we'll practice in our arena and then drive over and check into the hotel, which is what we did for that game. So, you get them up for breakfast, you have a meeting, you go over to shoot around, so you'll stretch, you'll shoot, we'll walk through their stuff, we'll walk through all of our stuff, we'll shoot some free throws, and then we'll eat again, and then we'll go back, and then we'll have another meeting before pregame meal, and go play the game.
So there you go, Connie. Now you've got straight. It is a shoot-around, a little bit more improvisation than just shooting the ball. It's a controlled shoot-around. Now, Margaret was here. Did she leave?
She did.
Darn it. Anyway, Melissa in Central Iowa. I know your wife played college basketball and obviously knows and understands the game. Does she ever break down game films with you and serve as a quote-unquote volunteer assistant coach?
No. She doesn't watch film, but she watches all the games and goes to all the games. So she will have an opinion about it, and she knows the game. She was a really good player. She understands the game, and I think the other side of it is she knows our team. She knows our players. She knows me. She knows how I coach. She knows what our philosophy is. She knows what we're trying to do. So she'll have some input, have an opinion or two. But it's usually, with a great intention and understanding. Yeah.
Great. Let's see. Okay. Dolph, Bobby, and Fran, what is your favorite your all-time favorite sports movie? Well, mine's Field of Dreams. I mean, it's not quite a sports movie, but
that's a sports movie.
Yeah, it is. But it was more of a son with your dad who died too young, and no, it's a great movie. That would be mine. How
it's
about
a
you?
hard list because there's so many good ones.
It is.
I'm partial to Rocky, being from Philly, but
sure.
I mean, Miracle is good. Remember the Titans is great. Hoosiers. Hoosiers is
loved Hoosiers.
I mean, how do you not put that one up near the top?
Hard to pick one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and there's just so many good ones. What's an underrated one that's great is For the Love of the Game, which is a baseball movie. That's a terrific movie.
Bull Durham always comes up.
Bull Durham is.
What was the one where Tom Hanks, the professional baseball for the league?
League of Their Own. League of Their Own. That was for
I love that
women's
movie.
professional baseball league.
I love that movie.
They did a good job with that
during World War II.
Yes.
Bobby?
Well, you answered Bull Durham. I like Kevin Costner and Susan Sarandon and that whole crew. And for minor league baseball, I remember when I got traded from the Kings to the Bulls, I said, the Durham Bulls or the Chicago Bulls? Which one am I going to? So he said, no.
Good thing it was the Chicago Bulls, Bobby.
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, I don't know that you would have accepted.
Can't hit a curveball.
Okay, I think we got caught up on Twitter and Facebook tonight. Let me just double check here. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we got it. Oh, here's one. Tim, Coach, what can we do to get more fans in the stands at Carver? Seems like our environment is lacking compared to Purdue or Iowa State. Well, obviously, Tim watched both those games or listened to both those games, two of the louder games. And, this comes up every year about the student body, and they've looked at rearranging the seating at Carver. And I don't know, do you have an opinion on it? I know you have some input.
I guess I probably would have input. I don't really do that. I mean, I just show up and coach the game, try to get my team ready to play. Leave that to those whose job it is. The thing that is somewhat difficult for us is, when we look at filling our building, we draw fans from, north of Cedar Rapids, from Des Moines, from the Quad Cities, Dubuque. So, a Tuesday night game is going to be hard for a lot of those folks, especially in the winter. Our fans have not liked the different times. I don't like the 6 o'clock
I don't blame
game.
them.
I don't like the 8 o'clock game.
No.
Well, guys, that's when it is.
Yeah, you got to
All
be
right?
there.
So stop bringing it up, because that's when they are.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's not an excuse.
Not
You're
gonna
not going to
change.
come. You're not going to. It's not changing.
It's not changing.
The other thing is, people always liked, well, we play Thursday at 7 and we play Saturday at 2. Well, we don't. We play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We might play at 5:30 on a Sunday night. We might play at 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, 8 o'clock on a Friday. We had a 9 o'clock game this year. We're going to play a 9 o'clock game. If we play back east and we have the late game, that's at 9.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it might not start till 9:20, which means we don't get home until whenever.
Early in the morning.
Exactly.
That was the case at Purdue, I think. Wasn't that 9 o'clock Eastern?
It was a 9 o'clock game. Yeah.
So there you
And
have
they
the
were
answer.
lined up around the building twice.
Lined up for 2 blocks. TV usually is the lead dog in there, and that's not going to change, because that's where the money's coming from to pay all the bills. But thanks for your question, Tim. Guys, it's been fun tonight, Coach. We'll see you Saturday or this weekend up in Sioux Falls.
Look forward to it, Dolph.
Yeah. Thanks, Bobby, for all
All right,
your
Dolph.
insight as well. We've been brought to you tonight by the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series. Iowa Corn promotes honest, hardworking values that are uniquely Iowan. On behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we salute all fans and athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like our top athletes, our state leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. Follow Iowa Corn and learn how corn grows Iowa. We're up against the gun here. We'll talk Saturday night from Sioux Falls. Thanks to everybody here at the Hyatt. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network. From Learfield, this has been Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffery. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.